Rhythm. Monk on the beat. Monk on the beat.
Woo! What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Take a second, hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us on all social media at MyCowboysFamily, and of course, hop in the Discord. Link for that's in the description box down below.
Yeah, welcome in. We missed yesterday on the Fan Friday. We got some special Saturday shout-outs, of course, right here tonight, and we'll be doing that shortly here. But we're back at it. Got 2 days of news, info, and updates to talk about, and we're going to do that tonight here. As we open this up, baby, let's shout out the people that are representing the board here when it comes to this week. And
Of course.
Leaders.
An extra special shout-out to the man JD from DC, representing there on the top spot as a sponsor of the week, and also the gifted membership king.
Yeah, he used to have 3/4 of the board. He has half the board right now. Much love to JD from DC. First time as a sponsor of the week, and hey, 3 out of 4 times.
That's right.
As the gifting champion. We also look over to the stream boss, and you see Jason Renfro with 51 points. Yeah. Still atop that side of things.
Holding on to his half of the stream boss.
Yeah, to his quarter, because McLovin has got the crown on. He's the Cash App King. Much love to McLovin, who is, first time for him on that side as well, just like JD from DC, first time as a sponsor of the week. So appreciate both you guys repping the top boards here. And as you can see, we have, of course, we're almost at the end of this week. We're going to crown some new champions, question mark. Let's talk about it because, Jason Renfro, 51 points still, of course, stream boss. When it comes to the gifting board, Skeptical Fan dropped 2 gifted memberships so far this week. And you got the Lunatic, who dropped 5 on it. So he's in the lead right now. He's the guy that could take that gifting crown and take that championship away from JD from DC, that streak of 3 out of 4 weeks. Also, the Lunatic, I'm going to shout him out because he's moving up the board. I think he's 4th or 5th on the overall board. He's back in the star level membership. Much appreciation to the godfather of the star level and of the membership side of things. Appreciate you, the Lunatic. Now, I also want to say that when you look at the Cash App side, a lot of people were making runs at that top spot. McLovin was leading. And he actually is leading some more because he dropped some more love on the After Dark special. The fan yesterday on Friday, and it wasn't really Friday. It was the Thursday after party, I guess. We had some drops there from McLovin, who is currently in first place on the overall board and the leader of the Cash App So big shout-outs to him. And other people dropped some love in there, like Micah with a $10 PayPal. Gloria with 26 total drops there. Smokey with 20 there after dark. Skeptical Fan dropping two $2 thanks drops at the After Dark session. Appreciate you, of course, Mr. Skeptical Fan. Jason Renfro dropping 17 up in the After Dark session. So all you guys, appreciate you guys that do the overtime, extra late night stuff. And yes, it all goes back to this board as well. The leaderboard is adjusted to fit all the people that drop, whether here or the After Dark channel. Now we also have other people in the membership, not just the Lunatic, but Roy Strasner back in the Navy Blue crew, and James Davis. Yes, you too, back in that Navy Blue. So appreciate both you guys and everybody in the house here tonight, hitting that like, subscribe, and notification bell, following us on Twitter, and all that good stuff. We're going to get into some very important information from the last 2 days of our Cowboys. But I also want to make sure we do our Saturday shout-outs. Like, you know, we're supposed to do a Fridays, but we haven't been able to do a Friday one. We might be doing that next week again. Back to the Fridays,
depending on our schedule, of course.
Yeah. But, of course, Saturday we will do the shout-outs. So, again, there's a lot of different ways of dropping the love here, whether it is in the Super Chat, whether it is in the with the thanks button, like I just said, thank you to Skeptical Fan doing it through there, whether you jump in the memberships like the Lunatic, Roy Strasner, James Davis, or you gift memberships. Like right now, you know, Skeptical Fan dropping some of those, and so is the Lunatic, who's first place on that. JD from DC repping the crown there 3 out of 4 weeks. So again, there's a lot of ways to drop the love, but there's 4 other ways you can challenge the man McLovin for the top spot in his crownage when it comes to the Cash App side. What are the 4 ways, baby?
Well, you said it. You have the Cash App money sign MyCowboysFamily, the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family, the regular PayPal link, and of course, the Streamlabs link lets your comment show up on screen just like a Super Chat.
That's right. So, appreciate everybody who drops through any of these facets and any of these ways. It always applied onto the overall board, and hey, these 4 ways are the Cash App way. Also, I got to shout out this tonight. You know, we do it on Fridays. We do the silver and the star and the over everything levels, all 3 of those levels. So tonight we move it. We don't do it on Fridays because we don't have a Friday show as of right now. Till next week probably. Until then, though, we do them on Saturday. So, baby, who's repping in the star level, the over everything level, and the silver level on a Saturday, Friday, Saturday shout out special?
Thank you very much to Bobby Bottles, Prince Jackson, Mr. A. Lavelle, Mary Alvarez, Skeptical Fan, Dwayne Broussard, the Top Dog, The Lunatic, Marissa Sparkle, Andy Potched, Jason Renfro, and of course, the man LC.
Yes, appreciate every single one of you guys on all the levels, Navy Blue included. But yeah, always do the extra shout outs for those, that are in the top shelf level memberships. And of course, once a week to those in the silver level. Appreciate you guys. Mm-hmm. And another little minor reminder here, I guess, coming around the corner in a couple of weeks. It is the star level membership or the over everything. It's either or. If you're in any of those groups, star level or over everything, if you're in any of those levels, you get a chance to win a sewn and stitched jersey from Boy Mosh over there. So just keep that in mind. You can still jump in it. You got about maybe 10 days, 14 days at most, probably not even that much. So keep that in mind if you want to get into this raffle. Star level member or over everything level member, you're thrown in this if you're in over everything, you actually get 2 entries. So you get up your chance a little bit if you're in that top shelf, which right now there's nobody in there. But there's a lot of people in the star, and they're fighting it out for that one jersey. Every month we do this, and you can win it. Some people win it twice a month, 3 out of 4 months. Sometimes we've had winners. So appreciate everybody on all levels here on MCF. So let's do the shout outs.
Yes, huge shout out. Of course, we have the Cash App King himself, McLovin. Thanks for being here.
Appreciate you, McLovin. Always with the.
So
let me see here. I didn't see
Very nice, very nice. Scorpio, what's up? Much love. Jason Renfro in the house. I'll have Mr. MCF double check the numbers there. Since
as far as what's
Jason Renfro said MCF, I have more than 17 after dark. I dropped over 30 in the Cash App.
No, that was that was this last After Dark, brother. I have you on the other After Dark. You dropped 30 in there. I'm just saying, in the overall, Mr. Jason Renfro is, I think, 3rd place on the overall board, man. I don't know what you're talking about as far as last time. You were, I'm just double checking.
Yeah, but Love is still in the lead there.
Last time Jason was, and I'll go through it, I guess, here more detail, but Jason Renfro dropped 17 the other night in the After Dark session. And then in the time before that, another 11:30, and the time before that, 13. And you go back to the, to when Jason dropped the 35 in the After Dark session. or 30. It was 30 something in the After Dark. That was all the way back on. Here it is, the 12th of that night. That after I think it was the Monday. So for that one, we got it all added up for you, man. We got you. I'm just talking about not all of it now. I'm talking about just this last After Dark.
Yeah, and
week
thank you,
there.
Robert, by the way, for summing it up. I
Yes.
appreciate you.
Welcome to the family.
Let me keep rolling here with the shout outs. We have Revelation journalist. What's up? I'll do the shout outs once more, right, McLovin?
Yeah,
Scorpio
hell yeah.
representing Jason Renfro, much love. Texas Twister, stay safe out there on the road. Mike Aldana representing Juan Carlos, what's up? James Paynes, what's up? Captain America, thanks for being here. Chris Davis representing. Rolling back a little more. Let me see. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights, what's up? Monroe Gadet, much love to you. Let me see. Who else is here? Skeptical fan, of course, always staying skeptical. JD from DC, the man himself. Shout out to the sponsor of the week and the membership gifting king.
Yeah, JD.
Freedom first. No, not first today. Someone beat you to it. Leaside Herald, what's up? Chris Davis. I think I shouted you out, but just in case, another one. 12 man off the grid, what's up? Let's see. I think, is that everyone here? Let me come back down. So far, I'll do some more shout outs as people.
Yeah, I do
roll in.
want to say also McLovin. I don't know. He kind of came in a little afterwards. I know we have.
He said he'll catch us. He'll catch you on After Dark. Have your wife babysit you through MC.
She's always the reason why this thing goes on, right? But not every night we do After Dark. That's just like whenever I kind of feel like doing it. I don't know if it'll be tonight or not, Mr. McLovin, but if it's ever on the weekend, there's a chance the wife could even be on After Dark as well. So you gotta stop by. You gotta have the notification bell on in case we do go live on that channel, and that'd be really late tonight since we started so late here. But I do want to shout out McLovin one more time. I know he's not a Cowboy fan, but I gotta say he's in first place on the Cash App board. He's also in first place on the overall board. Jason Renfro is right there in second. Yes, Jason had a $30 kickoff week. He had 17 the other night in After Dark, plus his regular drops during the week, but he is still in second place behind McLovin. And when it comes to the Cash App PayPal side, he's about halfway behind him right now on that side, a little bit more behind. So I just want to clarify that for everybody around the board here, especially Jason the man. I know he's always repping it here with us. But yeah, right now we got a guy taking over, so to speak, in McLovin. So appreciate the support and love there from him, even if he's a dirty fan of another team. You know what I mean? So
that's all right.
So yeah, it goes.
We need all stripes, right? We need
Yes.
somebody's ass to kick.
Yeah. Hey, listen, the man's in first place right now. Got to give him his love, his props. Appreciate you, even if he reps the wrong team. So yes, as far as the other night, yes, super thanks were dropped by Skeptical Fan. And Jason Renfro dropped some Cash App. Smokey dropped some Cash App. This was all in the After Dark session like 2 nights ago. And of course, Miko, Gloria also dropping love. She's in the running as well. And of course, McLovin, who is currently the leader on all the boards. After Dark here, the Cash App, the top sponsor of the week. He may be the sponsor of the week. He's not even a Cowboy fan. Let's talk about non-Cowboy news for a quick second, and let's get to the Super Bowl situation. Unfortunately, with the shooting, with the parade the other day, all patients who were admitted to the Children's Mercy Hospital after that mass shooting, or it was really a fight, basically a shootout at that Chiefs Super Bowl rally. All of them have recovered and have been discharged right now. It was announced today by the hospital, so that's great news. Everybody that was in, the children involved, at least, traumatic, obviously, but they are all out, of the hospital and good enough to go home. So that's good news. Yeah. Now, of course, there was one person who died, Elizabeth Lopez Galvan, and she was, of course, I think a local DJ in Kansas City. She got the one person that was killed, and Taylor Swift from this, this is the Kansas City Chiefs parade. She donated $100,000 to the family of Lisa Lopez Galvan. The goal was to get $75,000, and she donated 2 blocks of $50,000
they couldn't process the whole $100,000 donation. She had to split into 2 to be able to process.
Exactly. So again, that's great for them. They passed $180,000 in 14 hours.
And of course, can't leave her man out of it. Travis Kelce, obviously heard/knew what Taylor was up to.
Right, and he helped also the people that were the Reyes family, whose 2 daughters were shot during this Super Bowl parade. He donated $100,000 as well through his 87 and running charity. And this went to the Reyes family, who again nobody passed, but their daughters went through traumatic experience getting shot at this parade. So a source said, quote, he wants to ensure the impacted families get what they need during this difficult time. So good stuff there from both Mr. Taylor, Mr. Travis. I was say Travis Swift.
I thought you were about to say Mr. Taylor Swift, which I'm like,
Mr. Taylor Swift. I guess you could say that. Basically, that's what it is. But Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, so good stuff from them. And moving on from other teams, now let's talk about our team, the Dallas Cowboys. And it's not even about football today. I know some of you guys watched the slam dunk contest. I did. 3-point contest, the Steph Curry battle there with the woman, and of course the skills challenge, all that good stuff. I enjoy the All-Star Weekend here, and they always peek into that. It's always more fun than the Pro Bowl crap. But Micah was involved in this, All-Star Weekend in the NBA, and it was on the basketball court. He was picked, and we knew this for the Celebrity All-Star Game, and Micah, he balls out, guys. He knows how to play basketball. This NBA All-Star Celebrity Game took place on Friday night, featured some of the biggest names, out there, I guess, but some of the athletic guys, you could say. Puka Nacua from the Rams at receiver, Kansas City Chiefs receiver Mecole Hardman. He was in there. You had C.J. Stroud, the quarterback of the Texans, and, of course, edge rusher, / linebacker, Micah Parsons in the mix. So Parsons and Nacua were on the same team. They were Team Shannon. Team Stephen A. Smith was the other team, and we'll talk about him in a minute. But former NFL tight end Shannon Sharp, he's the head coach. He kind of had the football players, on his All-Star team. And Stroud and Harmon, though, these other two players, AFC guys, they were playing on the other side of the ball there with Stephen A. Smith's Team Smith or Team Stephen A. Smith. Micah dominated. He set the tone from the beginning, from the opening tip. He scored 12 points in the first quarter and also had a fucking nice dunk as well. Team Shannon, which was the team he was playing for, won the game 100 points to 91. Parsons took home the game's MVP award, and he also scored, again, just so you guys know, it's a celebrity event. He's not playing against actual basketball players, but he scored 37 points, 17 for 31 shooting. He did grab 16 rebounds. He had 4 steals throughout the entire game. If Parsons wasn't so good on the football field, I mean, who knows? Maybe he's in the D League, for the NBA. Who knows? But impressive performance from Micah. And my only concern in this, I didn't want to see an injury. I didn't see no twisted ankle playing basketball. That shit can happen. So I didn't even watch it. To be honest with you guys, Micah performed very well, and it should not be a surprise. He played in high school for Harrisburg High School. He played there. He was one of their star players on the basketball team. He has the size, the strength, the athleticism. In the NFL, it kind of translated at least against these guys in the celebrity game. But Stephen A. Smith, he didn't only just lose, he got dominated all night by a Dallas Cowboy player, who, by the way, we're going to go to this too, but Stephen A. Smith spoke to Micah, interesting stuff there, as well as some words from Micah here all across the news streams here from yesterday and today on his podcast, on Stephen A. Smith's podcast. So we'll talk about that in a minute, but Micah did not shy away from his football kind of aggressive nature there when it comes to the way you play, tough. He was constantly charging to the basket. Nobody would get in the way. 6'3", 245-pound linebacker. So again, Micah said, quote, they said don't treat it like it's football, but I don't believe that. I bring my aggression to the court and I'm taking home this trophy. So he was like competitive as he always is, aggressive. Played hard, played strong, did well.
I've never not seen Micah compete.
Always.
At this point, I think it'd be harder to find something that he might be able to actually be chill in, as far as
There's nothing
some
like
kind
that.
of competition or something.
He literally wants to win everything. Just to win the Super Bowl is what we need to win here. But listen, Micah and Team Shannon Sharp got the best of Shroud and Team Stephen A. Smith. Cowboys All-Pro made sure to let both guys know. Meaning Stephen A. Smith, he talked a little trash to him throughout the game, and same thing with C.J. Stroud. Micah said, quote, Stephen A. had the best lineup on paper. He had every type of basketball creator. We done heard about C.J. Stroud, and he has 40-point games in basketball. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, you can't outplay heart, and all my teammates today played with heart. So Micah was very happy about the performance by him and his team. But then I got to go to the Stephen A. Smith thing, and I just got some views on our shorts section there. With the whole Stephen A. Smith go out there in a silky, freaking weird ass jumpsuit with a turtleneck. And then he busts his ass getting crossed over by Micah Parsons. That was the word. Molly Kerm said that Micah Parsons crossed over Stephen A. Smith at a celebrity all-star game practice, and then Stephen A. Smith had to go to the hospital. Cowboys putting Stephen A. Smith into the hospital. He, again, x-rays, possibly karma sometimes. But when you got the injury update on Mr. Stephen A. Smith, after the trip to the hospital, he's in an ankle brace for that injury he suffered, practicing against Micah Parsons. And he wore it during the All-Star game, by the way. They asked him if he's going to be coaching. He said definitely. Of course he did. And then you can continue on. Well, when it comes to what Micah said, about the situation, he was asked, what happened with him and Stephen A. Smith. And Micah Parsons said, quote, Stephen A. had me on his podcast earlier today and said if I won MVP, he'd be damned to let a Dallas Cowboy come in and ruin his day. But guess what? His day is ruined again. Nah. He said after, crossing him up. He said, quote, I crossed him up yesterday and I did it to him again today. Stephen A. So again, he talked a lot of shit, like I said. But he also, Micah on his podcast spoke with CJ Stroud on The Edge. It was like last week. They both brought up their high school basketball careers, and that's what CJ Stroud said. That he played high school. He dropped 40 points on Miami Heat rookie Jamie Jaquez on his team, which included, he said, a game-winning three-pointer. So he kind of wanted to see if he would prove himself.
Which, by the way, if you're watching that basketball...
Slam dunk All-Star Weekend, yeah?
Yeah, he was doing the slam dunk contest, right? Yeah.
So that was who he was talking about his team in high school. Anyways, that was the Micah Parsons little stuff there for fun. But then, there was the podcast situation, which came out, I think it came out today, the Micah Parsons on Stephen A. Smith's podcast. And Micah, he was really burning Stephen A. Smith because, there was a lot of comments. Stephen A. Smith was trying to go hard on him in this interview. He was trying to go why can't you win it? What's wrong with you guys? And, are you guys going to accept just being good or winning the East? And Micah's he just went at him. And I'm not going to go through every single word. You can see what he said. I'm going to try to get you some of the words, though. And basically, he said participation trophies is out the window. He said he took full accountability. In fact, I'm paraphrasing here, but he said when Dak threw the pick, everyone's jumping on Dak for that pick. But why did that drive? Why did the Niners go down there and score 7-0 at the start of the game? And there was a lot of defensive stupid penalties. He called out DeMarcus Lawrence for offsides on a third down. Called out DeRon Bland for hands to the face on a third down and long, which we stopped them, got the ball back. No, we had to. We're saying we let them keep driving down the field on stupid defensive penalties. So Micah says, I have to be in there sometimes and say, listen, when Dak throws a pick, he says an important pick, he goes, hey, I got to be able to say, hey, we're going to go in there and stop it. We're going to go in there and pick it up for do our side of things and pick it up on our side, which he admitted they were unable to do when Dak did throw the pick.
The same way that when the defense does have those moments where they fall and falter, the offense can turn around and say, don't worry, I got you. We're going to go out there and just score.
Yeah,
you know exactly. What I mean? It goes both ways. It's
complementary,
right?
And they both got to work on that. So Micah was just saying, he has to be more of a leader and do that. So he took full accountability right in front of Stephen A. Smith's schmucky face. And again, he kept going at him. Like Stephen A. Smith said, basically, you are you good? You were going to win a Super Bowl. What's wrong with you guys? Whatever. And then Micah just said, basically, the argument's stupid. I'm paraphrasing here. But he said, when you go to the Hall of Fame, they never say almost made it to the Super Bowl. You either make it or you don't. So, Stephen A. Smith was using it, comparing it to the Niners or other teams. Who cares about almost? You got to win it or you don't matter.
And you know what? I agree, right? Tons of Hall of Famers in there that don't have a single ring on their finger. Tons of them that have one. Tons of them that have multiple, right? Yeah. Unfortunately, the team that gets to the Super Bowl is not made up top to bottom of NFL All-Pro, Pro Bowl players, right? There are other great, talented guys on other teams. Yes. So,
and
Micah will probably end up there one day, hopefully with some hardware on him.
Hopefully, with that star representing it, right? So, look, the point is, he was making a point that McNabb, if you're using the almost made it to the Super Bowl, almost won a Super Bowl, Donovan McNabb should be a lot more respected than a lot of other people if you use that almost metric, which Stephen A. Smith kept saying, you almost. It was just stupid. Stephen A. Smith trying to do ratings. Micah kind of put him in his place there. He also responded, Micah, to DeMarcus Lawrence's comments, saying the Cowboys were tired. Saying this is what DeMarcus Lawrence said, that the Cowboys were tired in the playoffs. That's why we did so poorly and lost to the Packers. Micah said, basically I'm paraphrasing as well, but basically said it is not a good enough excuse to say something like that publicly, especially. He said that is part of the culture that needs to change in Dallas. So he's calling out DeMarcus Lawrence, right? He called him out twice, I'll be honest.
And you know what? I think it also is just more the fact that, again, we very rarely hear from
Accountability.
inside the house people actually criticizing the culture in Dallas, right? They might say something about certain players. They might say hint at coaches. Heck, they might even hint at the front office in general, right? But we never actually heard a player, I think, just straight up say, like, yeah, we got to change the culture.
No, we finally heard one.
All right,
and Micah... I'm sorry, and the crazy thing is that you get into the culture side of things of this team. He talks about it a little bit here, and so does EMMITT Smith shortly. We'll talk about that because that's very important, and that'll be towards a little bit later in the stream. But I just want to say that right now, a lot of people get upset about people going at DeMarcus Lawrence for making that comment. I'm like, really? I'm like, that's what the culture has to change around this team, and Micah is trying to be instrumental in that. I think Micah knows he has to take that next step and kind of start to take leadership and take accountability in that way.
At the end of the day, yeah, like we've kind of said this before. There's this weird transitional period when you have these older guys, like let's say Jason Witten, right?
Yeah.
Or even DeMarcus Lawrence, obviously in this example. It's not necessarily that all the juice is out of the tank. Right? But when it comes to the way that they're leading this team, you have to forcibly pass the torch to the next guys that are coming up so that they can get the space in the room to grow into who they're supposed to be. I think it is time for Micah to hey, we were kind of like co-leaders before this. Now I'm the leader. You know what I mean? He's got to secure it on his own. So, shout out, by the way, to the handful of people who are joining us now. Cassie Stewart, much love. Hey, all good. I agree. She said, I have zero sympathy for Stephen A. Big Mouth. He needs to sit his old ass down and shut the fuck up. Tommy Montoya, much love to you. We have, of course, Scorpio. And exactly, here you can use all the adult language that you like.
Oh, yeah.
So, by the way, I responded back to this comment by Kevin Peterson, who said, that's what Stephen A. gets. And I said, he's such a cowboy. It's funny because Cassie kind of said something similar to what I said. He's such a cowboy hater. He could have just shut the fuck up.
I know.
For 5 seconds.
He's out there in the court trying to show. He's trying to show off in the court, and he's trying to get a basketball. He slipped and broke his ass.
Yeah.
Later on, he got crossed over by Micah.
Yeah, Micah wasn't trying to do all that until Stephen A. Smith poked the bear, right?
Yeah.
Tyrone Church saying, I love coaches, coaching coaches and players. That's
always something I've been saying for a while. That, and not just like now because we got these 3 new coaches. I've been saying this for a long time about our coaches, don't know what the other coach wants above them sometimes. And I don't see that communication as much. I'm hoping that Zimmer can bring the guys that he needs in there. And we'll talk about these guys we brought in. It's kind of towards the end of things on the situation.
It's Micah LeBron Parsons.
Yeah.
Anyway,
anyways, talking back to the football thing, Micah said, quote, defense wins championships. And he left it at that when it comes to that part of the discussion. Now, an interesting little finale you can say to this discussion. I want to say it like this.
Yeah.
Micah was also kind of, by Stephen A. Smith, was trying to get... Stephen A. Smith wanted to try to have Micah Parsons blame Dak Prescott for losing in the playoffs. And the reason why we can't get anywhere farther in the divisional round. And again, trying to convince Micah Parsons publicly chastised Dak Prescott, and Micah just turned it around on him, guys. Micah, stood on the fact that it's on them accountability wise, and he was being specific about himself. You know what I'm saying? He was being specific about some of the mistakes that were made on that field with DeMarcus Lawrence, DeRon Bland, himself included, right? So, when Zimmer, I guess we'll talk about Zimmer as well in a minute here because there's a lot of interesting stuff said about him here trickling through, but Anthony Barr, former Viking player under Zimmer, former Cowboy, of course, as well. Daniel Hunter, who's a free agent right now. They both reached out to Micah Parsons. This is what he said about how good Mike Zimmer is as a defensive coordinator, and he will use you the right way, trust us. So if for those that are scared, I feel good about Zimmer using Micah the right way. That might be the most important reason to have someone like Mike Zimmer here, utilizing Micah Parsons the best way possible. Now, this was, to me, the big one here, the biggest kind of the finale to things, which is about what he said with Jerry Jones. And I'm going to kind of finish up with the full quote that you have. But Micah says he spoke to the Cowboys owner, Jerry Jones, at length at the Super Bowl about the type of players he wants to bring in. And he specifically mentioned, and I don't know if you have this part, but I have this, that he wants a bigger linebacker who can get downhill and a super nasty 330-pound interior defensive player like we had in Mozzie, and then we dropped him to 295. So I'll go more into my thoughts on this, especially as a defensive tackle. But what did he say in complete context, baby, when it comes to when talking to Stephen A. Smith and about the situation of him meeting up with Jerry and getting asked, and what is his opinion on players that we need for this defense?
So Micah said, quote, "Yeah, so that's what I like about Jay," as in Jerry. "I think Jay is one of the best GMs, like owners that I've been around. And not even just that I've been around, because I've only been on one team. But from what I've heard from other NBA and NFL players, and it's just like the Super Bowl. Jerry sees me walking out the win. Jerry's at the win. He says, 'Hey, you going to the Super Bowl?' I say, 'Yeah, I'm going.' He said, 'Come see us.' And I was like, 'Hey, you got any extra tickets? I got some homeboys that want to come.' And Jerry sends me 4 extra tickets to the Super Bowl suite. And we just sit and talk before the game until the whole half about players I want to be in, players I want to be around. Who do I need? Who do I want to be with? The future of our team." That's just dope to have that type of feedback with an owner that loves to hear your ideas and what you think and what the team can be. Jerry's been pretty amazing like that with my family and stuff like that. I have had them conversations with him, and we spoke for 2-3 hours this Super Bowl alone.
I love it. You know why? Now, it's good and bad in this. The bad is that it reminds me of Romo, Witten, Des Bryant, and kind of like the core guys that Jerry only. Yes, it's Jerry's guys. And listen, if anybody's gonna be Jerry's guys, I love it to be Micah, because
Jerry
Micah is the real deal.
Jerry always has a few. Zeke, unfortunately, I
True.
think his personal
You're right,
life
Zeke
left it a little too bungled for Jerry to consider him fully one of his guys. I'm going to be real with that.
I'm going to be real about
Jerry
this.
drafted him with the intention of having him be one of those guys.
It's interesting.
10%.
I agree. But it's interesting to me that he's asking now how much credence and weight he puts into this as far as draft and free agency when it comes to what Micah said. But when you hear that Jerry Jones is kind of reaching out to Micah Parsons and asking him, even if it's just to get a general idea, what do you really need in that defense? What do you want in that defense? To me, that's a step forward if he follows through with the right thing. You get a guy that's for a scrub and stick him in the middle there as a defensive tackle, or a big linebacker that's not efficient, then you're not doing what Micah just asked for. You're getting the bargain basement version of that. So you either draft the top guys in those areas and positions, or you go out there and get them in free agency. So
now look, for better
ahead.
or for worse, right? This is what's happening. There is obviously some good in it because most of us agree with what Micah's saying, right? So it's not like Micah's telling Jerry, hey, go draft a first-round quarterback or something. But that's kind of my point. If a Micah Parsons-esque player comes up to Jerry and tells him to do some dumb shit, is Jerry going to listen and take that seriously as well? Like, that's why I said, like, it's really good because we agree with Micah and it's kind of obvious and it makes sense. But again, going back to that whole culture thing, I know Micah's not going to talk about that. But when we're talking about the types of guys you want to bring in, I wish I was a fly in the room to know if that was at least brought up once.
Good points. And it's not going to just go to Jerry Jones, by the way.
Tyrone Church, interesting point. We forgot that Steven runs this. So that's why Jerry has no problem.
I was just going to say that. I was going to put the clown show because Jerry Jones hears it. Where do you think he's going to go? You think he's going to make the decision? No. Stephen Jones. Tyrone Church knows. I was setting it up for that. Stephen Jones is the guy that has to hear it. Jerry Jones is the buffer here. He's the guy, the mediator in the middle, kind of say, okay, you get me what you need, I'll pass it over to Steven, and then we'll allocate the money and the funds for that position. But don't buy into the hype too much, because I'm telling you, I don't believe it till I see it from this fucking clown show. Micah is still naive and innocent into what the Joneses have done in the past, the way they do it.
Very much a weird puppet king type of scenario, right? Jerry is still very much the king, the figurehead, the guy in charge, and he still obviously is occasionally making decisions. But he's not the one running the kingdom. Yeah. It's Steven. And everybody knows it, and everyone, just saying, like, even though they still defer ultimately to Jerry, Steven first.
Yeah, Steven's the one that, not about first, Steven's the one that makes the final decision. on most of
Sure,
these
I
things
guess
when it
Steven
comes
last,
when
I
it comes to
guess.
the money. When it comes to the
Jerry
money,
first, Steven last.
Jerry's the one that speaks about the all in, and he speaks about what do you want, Micah, and then Stephen Jones gives you bullshit, and that's my fear, you know.
Micah Nana said maybe Steven has Jerry bugged whenever he's with Micah.
Maybe, I don't know.
Wouldn't put it past him.
Maybe they got all ears listening to what they're discussing. But here's the thing, though: what guy would you think if you're looking at the draft? Like the first guy I think about, you want to get a nasty interior defensive player, whether a 3-tech or a 1-tech. We got Mozzie, and then we got I don't know who we're bringing back, Hankins or not. We got Osa, but you want to add one more guy into that 4-man into that 2 spots inside. Oh shit, we got
Manu Reese.
Manu Reese, welcome to the family.
Thank you for subbing it up. Appreciate you.
Welcome. I'm just saying when you think about this. Think about there's 2 spots, right? You got Osa and Hankins. But let's say Hankins is gone. He goes to Washington with Dan Quinn. Okay? He's a free agent. We got Mozzie. We got Osa. But if you bring in another guy that's nasty like this, whether it's a free agent, which I would love, like an Isaiah Buggs or someone like this for a very minimal price, $1.5 million, $2 million, that'd be a good threesome there, and you easily can add a 4th guy in through the draft. And to me, the guy I would add that I've been liking from the beginning, and some of you guys, I know Jason Renfro knows, I'm sure Tyrone Church knows, a guy from Texas, T'Vondre Sweat. This guy is the nasty 330-pound guy that Micah's asking for. Now that's just that's a guy through the draft. If you're saying where do we draft this guy, well, because he's an interior player, he's not going to be he's not going to be drafted in the first round. So when you look at different things, and I talked about the center position in the past being a prime target, the best center in this draft is from Oregon, Jackson Powers Johnson. And to me, at 24th, would be a very viable option for the Cowboys. Now, just to say the Cowboys go a different route, but let's say we don't go interior defensive line that first pick. The second round is where I think you can make a run at T'Vondre Sweat. If I don't know how much the Cowboys will buy into the interior defensive line. It all comes down to what is in the mindset of Mike Zimmer, I'm sure. But there's another option in that same area, which if you want to go cornerback from Penn State, Kalen King, who's available in that range. So you have a decision to make. Do you go T'Vondre Sweat, which I love from Texas, or do you go with Kalen King, cornerback from Penn State, who I'm sure played with maybe close to playing with Micah. I don't know. At the point, probably not actually because of that COVID year. But the point here I'm trying to say is that these guys are viable, 2 first viable picks, whether it's a tackle a center or guard in the first round, or offensive lineman of some sort in the first round, and then a defensive player like a defensive tackle or a cornerback. Now there is another option. You can go with someone like Edgerrin Copper from Texas A&M, who's a linebacker. All right, he's also in that 56th pick range. You go up to 87th pick in the 87th pick in the 3rd round. That's our second. You can go with a linebacker, Peyton Wilson from North Carolina State. Now, again, I think that's a value grab there, but I'll have to do more research on these guys. Peyton Wilson, possible 3rd rounder, linebacker, run stopper, just an option there. If you want to go, in that same range, in that 3rd round, you want to go running back. What about Trey Benson from Florida State? A lot of people like him. He's in that range there. You go into the 4th round, pick 125. You can go with guys like a running back, Braylon Allen from Wisconsin. Just so you assemble this team in a quick way for Micah. And then in the 5th round, and again, I'm just throwing out some names. You can go Jalen McMillan if you want a receiver from Washington. But I'd rather look at, let's say, even deeper in this draft. When you look at the 5th round, another Penn State guy at 173 could be Johnny Dixon, right? In the 5th round, and that's an option there from Penn State, cornerback, value pick at that point. And listen, even in this, I'm saying even in the 6th round, Frank Gore Jr., Southern Mississippi, running back. Why not? I'm just saying, throwing out different options, mix and match how you like. Any thoughts on just some guys Micah we want, and just some quick draft options, I guess.
That's great and all, but I hate to be that person. I'm sorry to divert the conversation. But we're talking O-line in the chat.
Sorry, as the first pick.
Yes. That's what I'm trying to throw out there.
Jackson Powers Johnson. I'm telling you.
You can't go, to me, you can't go wrong with the 1st round offensive lineman. I love what West Texas Cowboy said. He said, anyone with 3 last names as his first name, I'm all for it. Like, I want that guy. Get me that guy.
Jackson Powers Johnson from Oregon, you want that guy. Trust me. He's a guy that I think he's the top center. There's 3 top centers in this draft. So you can go in the 2nd round and grab a center if you want. Not as good as him, but pretty damn good. Better than Biadasz, I think, even hitting the ground now. The 3 guys. So, again, this is options. if you want to go offensive line, first round. But second round, you got to think cornerback, linebacker, interior defensive tackle. Devondre Sweat is the reason why I'm bringing this entire thing up, because he could be right now, things change, we know this, but right now he could be a second round pick for the Cowboys at pick 56, and that would be that 330-pound nasty motherfucker inside that you want disrupting shit. Watch the videos I've posted on the shorts. Watch the Senior Bowl. Watch the freaking all the bowls. You'll see this guy dominating, and he's been doing better, I think. And you see the combine, I think he's going to go up. I think people will be drafting him probably, end of the first, beginning of the second round. So we might not even have a chance to get him by the time it all comes around. So you might have to concentrate on a corner like Caitlin King or a linebacker out there, whether in that round, Edgerrin Copper, or wait to the third round for the linebacker or something. I don't know. I think fourth and fifth you go running back.
The one thing that I think has to be kind of, not addressed, but kind of reminded, right? Guys, we did draft Overshown last year. Like, I know he got hurt. I know we didn't see him. I'm just saying that keep that in mind when it comes to where the Cowboys might want to draft a linebacker.
Can I say something about that? Can I amend something, though?
Of course.
I have to remind.
Of course.
That I agree with you. He's linebacker that's going to be utilized with Damone Clark. Marquise Bell is going to be used as a safety and a linebacker in this Zimmer defense. But I think that someone like Overshown is still not. He's not going to be. He's still undersized. He
doesn't necessarily fit the bill for what Micah's saying he wants to see for the Cowboys getting a linebacker.
He needs a strong run-stopping linebacker. That's let's just say a Devin White type guy. Put whoever you want in that blank there, but that's what you got to look for. That to me is what you want. There's an Aziz guy. He's a guy you can look at a linebacker. It would be fantastic for the Cowboys to be a run stopper. We need that kind of LVE replacement upgrade. Is what we need.
I'm only throwing this out there because for the last handful of years, we have targeted linebackers at a high draft level. We're talking first, second, third round picks. I mean, you don't get more high level than that. Pretty much in every single one of those rounds, we got a linebacker in the last 7 years or some crap like that. So just saying that clearly this current period of the organization values linebacker. But if they're trying to change things up or do things differently or be, make big moves, I'm just saying, I am not sure where that puts linebacker in that ranking as far as drafting. I'm being very specific here. That's all. Well, because I can't remember who was in the chat, but someone said it earlier. I think it might have been Tyrone Church as well. The kind of free agents that are available and especially the ones at positions we want, are within the Cowboys' range.
Correct.
There are legitimate contenders, high-value guys that are still within a reasonable Cowboy range. So it's there are no excuses this year in a lot of ways.
To acquire a player like that, no excuses. And the other thing, I was going to say that. I mean, Tyrone Church and I are on the same wavelength now.
I agree.
We always seem to come around. February and March, we're matched here, stride for stride. Yeah, so
as
again,
the kids say
much love to Tyrone Church, and I agree because that's the thing with the Cowboys. You need a guy for now, right? If you get a linebacker in the second or third round, are they going to be really ready to do the NFL stuff there without utmost help from the defensive tackles, which I don't know if we're going to get yet. If you want to, we got to get that. Even with that secured, linebacker's going to make mistakes as a rookie. So I want a guy who knows his shit already. Steps in and knows how to do it. So I say it all comes down to Zimmer, the kind of guy he wants, and then it comes down to Stephen Jones, how much money he allocates for that position. Because if he does not want to go out there and spend $10 million for Devin White and I said Bobby Wagner an option, then we're not going to get the guy that we can forget about the all-in bullshit and just accept what it is going to be this year. That's the truth of it. If we draft a guy in the second or third round, he's not going to be the savior. He's not going to be there and just be the fucking big run-stopping linebacker we need. He's going to take a year or two before he gets to the point where he could be a true starter full-time, and that's just the facts of the matter. So you need it now. You do not need this for the future. You want to draft the guy, that's fine, but you got to make sure you get a free agent guy in here now. There's no excuses, not just in linebacker, but for an off-ball linebacker, run-stopping linebacker. They're there in the draft. But in free agency, you got to spend the money. You going all in, you got to get one of these guys. So when I look at past the draft and I look at another side of things, free agency, let me throw in the whole crew here. But I am the Jones boys.
Well, I am.
Want to hear the biggest splurging the Cowboys have done outside free agent wise? Not our own Cowboy re-signings or big contract extensions.
Yeah.
Talk about signing guys from other teams.
Outside guys.
Let's go back to 2012. Brandon Carr. 5 years, $60 million. That's really our biggest guy, I think, since, I'm honest. 2013, Kitna, 1 year, $940,000. These are the biggest splurges outside the team. 2014, defensive tackle, Henry Melton, 4 years, $27.5 million. 2015, we went big. Greg Hardy, 1 year, $11.3 million on a big roll of the dice. And that was all dependent on his situation, right? On him following the rules. What's up, Houston Kelly? Welcome.
Thanks for summing it up.
To the family here. Welcome to the channel. Appreciate you. We also, 2016, defensive tackle Cedric Thornton, 4 years, $17 million. 2017, Nolan Carroll, 3 years, $10 million deal. Ooh, that's a big spend there. He was crap. He was out the second week of the season. 2018, Alan Hearns, 2 years, $18 million. That's big spending. 2019, Randall Cobb, 1 year, $5 million. 2020, these are the biggest spendings we've done, on that season. 2020, Everson Griffin, 1 year, $6 million. 2021, Keanu Neal, 1 year, $4 million. Dante Fowler, 1 year in 2022, 1 year deal, $3 million. That was our biggest spending off the team, like outside team. And last year was Chuma Edoga, 1 year deal, $1.323 million. That's the big spending the Cowboys do. Not originally a Cowboy, from another team. I cannot trust these motherfuckers.
The only asterisk, and I know he was acquired through a trade, because I know the first thing people say, well, what about Amari Cooper? Like I said, we got him through a trade.
Gilmore and Cooks, these guys were all trades.
No, but the only reason I bring him up is just because, again, I think that, unfortunately, whether we want to admit it or not, the Cowboys took a big risk and a big chance bringing in Amari Cooper, and I don't think they're very happy with the way it turned out.
Well, that was Stephen Jones made that call,
they ended up paying him that big money, and he just never really played to that level consistently for lots of reasons.
They also played away from him. That's the crazy. They played in his last season there. With her, they cut him. They played away from him. The front office.
That was a business move. Anyway,
that's what's crappy.
Let me take a second before I say.
It's not crappy. The man Marco Seppian, only from Hawaii. Aloha, and welcome in. The man, he's got the all-time record as a sponsor of the week.
Kicking things off on the official side of things here
15
tonight.
weeks in a row. The man Marco Seppian. Yes, kicking it off officially on my Cowboys family tonight here, especially in the super chat side. Much love. What did the man say? Taking Jason, by the way, to 43 points on the stream, boss. What did Marco Seppian say?
Our D-line is hype. Hankins and Tank are supposed to be elite run stoppers. Osa and Armstrong are supposed to be solid solid too, but why were there so many holes? So first of all, Hankins and Tank, I don't know about fully elite, but they were very, very, very solid run stoppers. Right?
Who is this? Who?
I said Tank and Hankins. I said I don't know if I put them in like elite, but they were very, very, very good. Yeah, and the problem is that last time I checked, to stop the run, it does take more than 2 guys. That is the unfortunate reality of that. So and they were not out there every single play, every single time. So at least when it came to stopping the run, they did a decent job. Osa and Armstrong, again, like you said, they're solid, but they definitely did not, either one of those guys kind of maybe rise to a few of the hopes or expectations the Cowboys had for them. Regardless, solid guys, right? They didn't rise to that necessary level. But why were there so many holes? Again, the Cowboys placed some bets that did not go their way. I think they expected Mozzie to produce a little more than he did, even knowing he was going to be a developmental project throughout the year, right? I think they expected other moves they had made to help out a little more, because things went so left at the linebacker side. Even the little bit of linebacker support when it came to run stopping that they were counting on definitely did not go their way. And the real cherry on top, the way that the Cowboys clearly planned on stopping the run was just in general with the pass rush, right? Like just kind of breaking through fast enough that's how you stop the run. You're basically getting through there before the runner can even pass the line of scrimmage, and you're stopping him or slowing him down. To you guys get my point here. So that also did not happen as much as we kind of expected it to on a consistent level this year. Right? Like when we had sacks or we had those moments, it was kind of like in big chunk plays. It wasn't necessarily kind of a consistently pressuring getting through. Right?
Yeah, I mean...
So I'm just saying, because I was
it was more
disappointed
trying to be disruptive
with that. Exactly. Yeah. So, and again, as the season kind of went on, because of personnel reasons, you did see that kind of get worse as the season went on. Our defense started off pretty strong, had a bit of a jump there, right? But as this time went on, we got more banged up. Our scheme got figured out a little more, and, well, we saw those cracks, right?
Yeah. I'm going to crack my 2 cents on that yet. On that, I have something to say on that.
I said enough.
You said you covered most of it. I have one or two little things, and we also have another 5 on it
from the Mark's comment, and then you can comment on both.
But Mark, by the way, now in 3rd place with that drop. 3rd place overall on the board, getting closer to Jason Renfro, getting closer to the top spot there, currently by McLovin in the lead. So what did Mark say this time around with the 5 on it? I have a lot of agreeances with him on the first comment. I'll go through that.
And reading the chat, I'm actually going to, as my response to this, I'm going to read like 1 or 2 comments in the chat and then pass it off to you, just because you guys in the chat said it way better than I could, honestly.
Let's hear it.
So Mark said, that's my point, Mrs. MCF. Everyone else on this line is marginal. You don't need elite guys to have a good D-line. San Francisco has Bosa and a bunch of solid guys as clowns again, and that is where that cherry on top scheme comes through. And Quinn busted his ass trying to figure it out, but like I said, stopping the run was and still continues to be, at least within Dallas, a problem. So that sucks. As far as my response, like I said, so first of all, Micah said the Clown Show shortchanged Amari before they got rid of him.
Yep.
Agreed. So Scorpio saying, Tyler Smith and Micah were first-round picks and made a huge impact. This year's first-round pick needs to be a player that can start and play like a vet. We got to be smart on the pick.
That's where you want to go with an offensive lineman. A center, like Jackson Powers. That's the guy I would go with. I don't know. Just off the top of my head, of course, that can change since now and then. Now, Mark, I want to get to his first comment. Defensive line hype, Hankins, Tank. Tank is an elite run stopper, but he can't, like you said, baby, he can't do it himself. And Hankins is more about the guy that not only a run stopper, but he gives the opportunity for linebackers to do well. The problem was
run stuffer might be a better description.
Yeah, again, but there's better ones than him out there. But the point is that he has to take up at least the 2 blockers. He does this on double teams and doesn't let the offensive lineman disengage and get to the second level against linebackers. Then he's doing his job, and then you see the linebackers getting tackles. The problem was the young linebackers like Damone Clark and a younger guy and a guy who's not even playing in his right position played great, but Marquise Bell, there was some, they're undersized. Even when they get to the second level a little later, they're still able to get blocked because they're getting blocked by 300-pound plus guys. So I think that was the bigger issue than it was, let's say, Hankins not being an elite run stopper. I think he did his job, but I agree with him about Armstrong. I think he is not going to be re-signed, although some people are saying we should re-sign him. I don't agree. Osa Odigizua, I'm in between with him because he did get better, but I still think he needs to do more, and I think that he could be like a rotational guy. That's why I keep saying we can go and get someone like a Tavondre Sweat from Texas, and he can do that. He can play 1 or 3 tech, and it'll be tough to block him in the run or pass game. So I agree, though. There's been some misses on there, some less, maybe poorly coached. I don't know how to say this, but there's just some issues on that side, and I agree with all what you're saying. The second comment he said that everyone else on the defensive line is marginal. A lot of these things I already kind of agreed with, like Neville Gallimore. He's not producing like a 3rd rounder. We're not getting 3rd round true rotational help from him. He's when he's in the game, he hurts us most of the time. So what I'm saying, that's the problem. We don't have those solid guys that the Niners and Bosa have over there, like Eric Armstead and a couple other guys that we've discussed. They have to keep replacing every year. Hargrave, fantastic interior guy. That's who we have to make the move for the money. The guys that are proven that we know that can do it. And you can get these guys for under 10. You get a solid linebacker. I mean, a fantastic linebacker like Levante David or Devin White. And these guys can go sideline to sideline and make tackles anywhere inside and outside of the offense, in between the hashes or outside the hashes. So that to me is what Micah's asking for, and I say get it for Micah. If we can do that, we're gonna be much better on defense, especially in the Mike Zimmer, kind of very more aggressive 3rd down pass defensive team. We got to stop the run, and that's where I think these 2 positions come into play. So much love there, great comments from Mark Hosepian about what we need to do and when Mike Zimmer involved. But I also I want to throw out there when it comes to the all motherfucking in. And this is the problem for this team, is that I don't believe, even Jerry Jones said it. I know Stephen Jones runs it, but Jerry Jones said it, all in this year, no matter what. When I think about the future, that's what Mike McCarthy said. He confirmed these things. And you're looking at the guys that we've spent, and I want to reiterate, the Brandon Carr, John Kitna, Henry Melton, Greg Hardy, Cedric Thornton, Nolan Carroll, Alan Hearns, Randall Cobb, old, Everson Griffin, crazy. Keanu Neal, Dante Fowler, and Chuma Adoga last year. These are the guys since 2012 that we've paid the most outside off this team, from another team, as a free agent. That is not going all in. So all in would be getting Bobby Wagner, getting Stephon Gilmore back, although that would count as a Cowboy. That wouldn't even count as a free agent move in that sense. So, again, you guys understand, going out there, getting Wagner, going out there and getting, Devin White, someone like this, going out there and getting maybe a really solid corner, whether it's Gilmore or someone else. And honestly, going out there and getting a cheap Isaiah Buggs, and then maybe drafting Sweat from Texas. That's going all in. That's the truth there. So it's up to the fucking clown show to fucking,
the clownery.
Bring it, either say what you, do what you said you're gonna do, or go fuck yourself.
We're
it's
gonna
a
have
lie.
to be like, all those other fancy streamers and get ourselves like one of those little sound decks or something. So every time we do that, we just make little clown noises.
Yeah.
Right? Little honking nose, or
if we ever get a soundboard, we may, right? Well, right now we got Mr. Marco Sapien tearing it up here.
Woo!
With the 5 on it. What did the man say, baby? As he drops Jason Renford a 33, Tony Dorsett, Damone Clark points. What did Mark say?
Our D-line had marginal players pushed to be starters. Osa has had 9 sacks in 3 years. He offers little in the pass rush and the run stop, but he'd be a great backup. So, the point is that Osa is a rotational piece that gets rotated in more than he should be based on his current ability, that the Cowboys are just hoping that he wakes up one day and plays better. Right. And again, the thing that I struggle with the most is that early in the season, all these guys were firing on all cylinders. The problem is that now at the end of the season, with some time and reflection, you can kind of go back and see a lot of our mistakes were being glossed over by those picks. But we got a lot of those picks because the pressure from the D-line was better in the earlier part of the year. So it's kind of a bit of a weird chicken and the egg scenario, right? The picks helped cover up some of the mistakes that were happening when it came to the weaker pressure, but the better pressure also led to more picks, which is why we were doing better. So,
this year I'm going to say this for this, at least for this 1 year here, Mark. I agree with everything you said, baby. I agree with what Mark is saying. But when it comes to I'm going to focus on the biggest difference right now on our defense is this guy, Mike Zimmer.
Yeah.
And I think that we talked about this the other day, when the way the Cowboys will probably play a lot of their defense will be press coverage, will be guys in the A gap on defense, linebackers like Micah, over the center. That's what he's shown to do with the Vikings, with the Bengals, with the Cowboys in the past.
Does he like defensive linemen that have more to love?
Well, again, it depends on the down, right? But I think that he always has had a big guy in the middle to kind of anchor things, and I don't know if we have that right now. We don't have that. With Mozzie down 295, you cannot count on him. Even if he goes up to 330, you cannot count on Mozzie. So you got to get a big guy. Isaiah Buggs, Hankins back. Get Tavondre Sweat from Texas, drafting him, and you got Mozzie Smith too. That's and you got Osa. You're set. You're done. Don't touch it. You got 5 guys for 2 spots.
Yeah, bringing back Mozzie. Bringing back Mozzie. Bringing back Hankins and fixing some of the things wrong with Mozzie.
That's a big part of it.
That's just the baseline of the minimum that we have to do. Outside of that,
agree.
Like you said, we'd love to see us draft someone. We'd absolutely
nasty guy in
need
second round,
to
third
see
round.
us get some kind of a free agent. Right?
A solid guy that's good. I don't need a name. We need somebody who's solid and doing it for years.
Yeah, unless the Cowboys are trying to trade to end up in the top 10 draft to grab themselves a defensive lineman that can sit there and stop the run and actually contribute this year.
Yeah, it's not going to happen in
Because
draft.
that was the one thing I have to agree with Scorpio 1,000,000%. I don't care if you draft a freaking kicker in the first round, in the sense of
you better use
whoever we get in the first round needs to produce immediately. Right. There is no Mozzie picks.
And that's the issue we knew was going to come into it with Mozzie. When we heard that, we're like, all right, he's going to be maybe rotational at best this year. And he was even worse than that.
Let me be real, though. It wouldn't feel so bad if our second round pick hadn't sucked as badly as it did. Because had we gotten that offensive lineman you wanted, wouldn't we all be feeling like, well, shit, that was a crappy draft, that was whatever, but at least we had this guy, because that guy would have played. He would have played a lot.
And now we got to draft the guy because we missed on that. We had missed Bergeron and we missed Osiris Torrance. We got Marco Seppi. We never miss with him. He's never missing. Marco Seppi dropping that 5 on it. The $5 holler. He's moving up this board. I think he's really close to Jason Renfro right now, if not passing him. I'll double check it. He got 5 on it. He got Jason down to 28 points. What did the man say?
I'm hoping my manhood grows again. Sorry, I'm hoping my manhood grows. But again, it comes down to strength of schedule. We've got great stats versus some of the worst teams. We generally did squat against the good teams.
Listen, I'm 100% with Mark. I just want to see more. All I'm saying is this. Give me more consistency from our D, from our big D.
Consistency. From the D.
See, I don't think that's asking
That's what she
to having your manhood grow again. That's obviously an impossibility. Wait, what? But my point is that is something that's, hoping and wishing and dreaming, right? To me, I think the big thing about this is that it is possible for the Cowboys to be more consistent.
It is.
The consistency, if we could get that with Zimmer, that's a win. If we get this defense, okay, they don't have the turnovers as much, but we are stopping teams from scoring overall in games consistently. Good teams, bad teams, influx teams, I don't give a fuck teams.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
At a minimum once a week, the Cowboys have to consistently bring good D.
That's just a life
Depending on the
lesson.
schedule, it might have to be, so we always have that short turnaround time, usually around Thanksgiving, right? 3 games, 11 days. So, that's some more consistent D that has to be brought.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Everyone's,
Once a week
you only
D.
get one bye week. Remember that.
Yeah. That's a bare minimum. A once a week D thing. You know what I mean?
Take it easy,
that's
Cassie
a must.
Stewart. Have a great night.
Cassie.
But yeah, sorry. Had to, slip in a little MCF after dark since we're here.
I agree with what he's saying, that the fact that, I just want to see more. My addendum to your comment is more consistency from the Cowboy defense. And I think Zimmer, that's why he's on the screen right now. I think that he will bring the pressure in the middle with guys like Zach Luna, who dropped $100. Okay, 99.99. $100 holler right here, my Cowboys family. Much love to Zach Luna. He is now currently.
That 99.9, that's like paternity,
shit.
Okay? You're 99.99%
Yeah.
the father.
Damn. Zach Luna with that drop is in second place, just like that. Jumps everybody in the house and is
Thank you so
close
much, Zach Luna.
to McLovin in first place. Zach Luna, mind blowing.
He came
the
through
drop
and said,
of,
well, bam.
That is true. That is the drop of the month. Currently, maybe the drop of the year, or ties the drop of the year at the very least.
We're only, we're about 2 months into the year, so I do think it is the drop of the year.
Yeah, I think so too. Zach Luna, appreciate you, brother. What did he say with the 100?
He said, thank you for a good 2023 MCF. Dallas Cowboys for life. Hey, I'm glad at least one good thing came out of 2023, even if it was just all of us here commiserating together about this team, right? The good news is we get to hop back on that horse and do it all over again.
Oh,
you guys get to join us for the, 8th official year, right? The 8th official, 7th official off season of MCF.
8th official season when it starts, but yes, our 7th official
off
year.
season here.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? I can't believe we're doing this like this. By the way, I didn't realize, but yes, I double checked that Zach Luna is on the board already. He's 10 on it with another 100. He is right now 11 back. Micah Parsons back from first place on the overall board as the sponsor of the week, or trying to get that sponsor of the week spot. So I just got to shout him out for that. Again, appreciate you, brother, and the drops of love, the support. Cannot do this without you guys. And every one of you guys, humbled by your love and support once again.
By the way, as we keep rolling through here, guys, of course, we do still have a few things to touch on.
Yeah,
obviously, we've gotten a little sidetracked by you guys here in the chat, but of course, we always love that part of the stream. That's half the fun of doing these live streams.
Discussing it with you guys is what it's all about. So,
thank you so much. And then, hey, East Side, Texas, the Texans can go wherever they want. They're still going to end up on the couch. It's okay. Thank you, by the way. Marco Seppian said, hold up. I still have a $5 holler.
Uh-oh. He drops Zach Luna to 95 on that board.
Already. And Marco Seppian said, amen. Both the O and the D blow out bad teams. Will beat an occasional good team, lose to a bad team like Arizona, and then win most games versus okay teams. That's not elite.
It's not. That's what I'm saying, is that we are consistent against the shit. And that's not every team can do that. Let's give props there, but We're consistent against crappy teams and not consistent overall, and that's what we need. That goes in my consistency issue.
Yeah.
So I agree with you, brother.
And
And it goes on both sides, and the coaching, and the front office, and the freaking special teams, and everything.
And it's not just because Dan Quinn decided to move on to not greener pastures that we're talking so much about the defense. One of the reasons we are is because when you look at the teams that made it to the Super Bowl, they did not do it on the backs of their offense. They did it on the backs of their defense. And obviously, in the end, like pretty much every freaking football game, yes, your offense has to come through. They got to come in clutch. They have to put up that big moment, that big play. And that is where you get those offensive difference makers like Mahomes and stuff, coming through in those big moments.
You need
but
the
guys,
difference makers.
Defense is the reason both those teams appeared
Yeah.
in that game. And that's why I feel like we have been harping so much on a lot of these topics here, but specifically on the defensive weaknesses that will, to me, be the difference maker between, hey, can we be contenders the way that we expected to be this year?
Consistent. We got to be consistently beating teams, whether they're good or bad. And I think when you look at the top three teams was the Ravens, number 1 on defense, Niners, number 2, and Chiefs, number 3. We were, I think, 5th. But my point is that the Cowboys, that's great for the numbers, and I agree with Mark. I push that. I use that as a guide, these numbers. We're good. We're a good defense, but we're not elite. And we're not consistent enough to be elite. So
to me, it just leaves me, again, scratching my head. Clearly, we're doing something right. I don't care if it's against crappy teams. I don't care if it's against good teams. You know what I mean? That, to me, just shows that, again, the deficit isn't necessarily all in one spot, right?
It's all over.
Some
That's
of
the
it was
problem.
personnel. Some of it was coaching. Some of it is culture, right? Like, we are in the mix, right? Like, we're not 25th defense or whatever the fuck. Like, but that's what makes it even more disappointing, right? If we were as shitty as some of these other teams, would it really be surprising when we suck or don't do well?
Right, we more expected that.
But the actual genuine effort exerted, along with the actual genuine talent we have, that's what makes it even more disappointing, because we know we could do it if things had gone a little different.
Micah said it himself. It's about defense. He said, quote, defense wins championship. He said it today, and we know in the end, yes, you have, if you have the, the offense, you have the players that can get you over the top. Like I said, Hankins, I mean, let's get into this. I want to actually talk about this real quick, because when you have after this move with Zimmer, you have a lot of the analysts, the talking heads. You have Colin Cowherd on the herd, all right? And he had his he had next year's his NFC playoff predictions. You know who he put as the division winners?
Who?
The Washington Commanders as the division winners in the NFC East.
Okay.
Then he has over the Cowboys, which he had the Cowboys as the wild card team. Thank you. Then he has the Packers winning the North. Green Bay Packers winning the North with the Lions as the wild card team. Then he has the Falcons winning the AFC South, and the Rams winning the NFC West. I'm sorry, the NFC South for the Falcons, NFC West for the Rams, putting the Niners as a wild card team.
Yeah.
So basically those are the 4 division winners with the Cowboys, Lions, and Niners. And no Eagles, by the way, in there.
In a weird, I don't even necessarily disagree with the whole Commanders somehow win the division, because I know, but we mentioned this before. It's been like 20-something years since we've had back-to-back winners in the NFC East, so odds are it probably will be not the Cowboys this upcoming year, just based off of that alone. But it's not like that previous years have any bearing on future years. So
that's my point.
The same as every other year.
That's my point. That's just dumb luck, right? It's just like, let's break that fucking streak and just win. Let's secure the East, and let us try to get the first seed. What can I say? But this overall, to me, this playoff prediction is for clicks and views. I mean, Washington over the Cowboys, I still don't see that happening. They don't even have the Eagles in the playoffs at all, which maybe could happen with the way things may be going with them. But hey, I would put them over the Commanders. The Packers over the Lions, although Packers may be in it again. I mean, the Lions definitely, I think, are still, I don't know, I just feel they're still better. Falcons, whatever. The Rams over the Niners. Just really off to me, it's just like he's trying to flip everything around to get some views and clicks. Either way, I do want to talk quickly about the offense for a quick second, and it's very interesting because it's about, he didn't speak, but it's about Dak Prescott. I'm sure we'll get Mark and other people commenting on this, but there was an interview on Jonathan, and again, we just talked about Jonathan Hankins.
Yeah.
On Jonathan Hankins' YouTube page or Twitter page, I think one of his pages, he had an interview with Jake Ferguson, and one of the questions that he asked and he kind of said it himself, and he asked Jake Ferguson is, do you think Dak Prescott can take the Cowboys to a Super Bowl? And it's funny, Hankins said, do you think Dak can take us? Like, what do you think the chance of, you think he's good enough to take us
very much
to the Super Bowl?
considers himself still part of this Cowboy team.
Exactly.
Even
as a free agent, he's still like us.
I'm a Cowboy.
So he's a Cowboy. So he was like, can you see Dak do it? Because then Hankins, before even Jake Ferguson said anything, Hankins like, because I do believe he's the guy that can do it. He's a guy that can do it. I believe it. And Jake Ferguson said with a very, I just posted a firm and a serious kind of face, and you can see almost like I could run through a wall for him, and you can see it because I posted it in the shorts. So check it out. But Ferguson says, quote, I'm with him until the wheels fall off. And he kept talking about the basically that all the work Dak puts in, and he still is getting better. It's incredible to him that he's even at the point of his career he's in, he's still getting better, even just because he's putting in just that much more work.
Because he's working hard.
Yeah, I mean you don't usually see that kind of gain after 8 years in the league.
For better
right?
or for worse, Dak certainly has inspired this offense to take itself at least a little more seriously. Those that choose to join him.
Exactly. Right? Yeah. Exactly. So just wanted to throw that, but I also want to throw one more comment out about not even Dak. Well, this is a Dak Prescott tweet. You can say it's a CJ Stroud tweet as well. But when I'm looking at our team, that's the one I'm looking at more than anything. And when you look at ESPN, they have they announced the bottom 10 wide receivers from 2023 when it comes to getting open, creating separation for their quarterback.
Guys suck.
They might have a couple of numbers and touchdowns, but most of the guys don't because they don't get open very often. They don't create enough separation to count as being open. And when you look at this list, these top 10, these worst 10, I should say, Devontae Parker at the bottom of the list. He got open 12 times, all right, from New England. Jonathan Mingo got open 21 times. Cedric Tillman, 24 times. Quentin Johnson, 25 times. Van Jefferson, 25 times. And then, sixth worst, Michael Gallup. Only got open this year 26 total times. That's
embarrassing.
Horrible. Juju Smith-Schuster, 26 as well. Alan Lazard, 27 for him. DJ Shark only got open 29 times for Carolina. But who was 100th on this list, which is the I guess you could say one of the 10 here, the best of the 10, I guess. Jalen Tolbert. Also only got open 30 times this year. Again, he didn't play as much as Michael Gallup. But you can see what I mean? And he's also much younger. So he's also not getting paid $11 million, $12 million a year.
I was just about to say, I'm like, who's the highest paid guy on that list? Let's ask that question. But outside of even that, does this indicate, again, we talked a lot of good things. The offense, once again, continued to progress from where it was the year before. But what we're talking about, McCarthy deficiencies. Does McCarthy struggle as well to get our guys open? Or is it a player deficit type of thing? Like the routes are being run right, but the players are just not getting open. Or maybe those guys just happen to keep matching up against the most number one top.
No, we know that's not the case.
You know.
That's not the case because we know they go up against CD and try to find him. But here's the thing.
That's what I'm trying to say.
So when it comes down to the players themselves, in the case of Gallup, I think it's the player in the sense of ACL tear, still not really 100%. He never, ever, even before this, baby, he never really had separation in his career too often. The best year he had was the 1 year he had his best separation year and got open more often. So I'm not saying that Dak can't try to thread the needle, and he's done it before, but Gallup does not inspire a lot of confidence when he's running his routes. And that's just shown for the last 3 years, basically. Really his whole career, but 3 years is like half his career. And that's just when he has to, we're looking at him to produce, not just developing as a rookie or a second-year guy. So Gallup will be cut, and we're going to get $9 million back on him this year for the cap. So that's my expectation. Jalen Tolbert on another side of the coin here to me, because it's more of the inexperience. This is his first real year with an offense that he's going to be able to understand this past season under Mike McCarthy, because the first year it was a clusterfuck with Kellen Moore. And we know this because even CeeDee Lamb doesn't know what the fuck the routes were running. And we know this from T.Y. Hilton. We know this from CeeDee Lamb himself. These things were not understood yet until week 8, 9, 10 of the season 2 years ago with Kellen Moore. So Jalen Tolbert was in a fog. Jalen Tolbert, I think he's been very productive for the time he's been on the field. Even if he doesn't get open, he doesn't need to get open in some of the routes he runs. It's just for possession catches, not necessarily trying to go down the field and create separation, which is what we need Michael Gallup to do. He's the guy who goes down the field and make those those sideline grabs. We don't have Tolbert doing the same things Gallup does. Tolbert doesn't get that much separation because of the routes he runs, the type of routes he runs, and the limited routes he's run this year shows that he has less chances to get open.
Yeah.
Miles Gallup's been getting the game 75%, Tolbert 25%. So I'm just saying, like, those are the obvious reasons why. Why is Gallup on this list with a lot of these guys? I don't understand it. Gallup should not be on this list. These guys don't get paid half of what he gets paid. So Gallup's gone, and you see, and that's why I'm referring this to Dak on the screen, because this is Dak's options out there. And unfortunately, Gallup is third option as a receiver, and it's been horrible for him. Again, Tolbert stepping in, doing definitely more effective. But still, even just mentioning him in this list, Dak's been threading the needle with a lot of guys, in the last bunch of years. So I just wanted to put that out there and make sure we got those numbers proper on that. And I flip it over now to the defensive side again. And, we're going to kind of finish up here with Zimmer and his coaching staff, because Mike Zimmer hired a slew of defensive coaches, 3 of them to be exact, yesterday. And we're basically almost finished finalizing Mike Zimmer's defensive staff.
All right.
Again, took a few days after Zimmer has arrived. And we tried to go after that Andre Patterson guy from the Giants. But the point is that, the Giants blocked us. He was going to be his right-hand man, and he's, unable to come to the Cowboys for an interview. So that's that. Out of the question. So, again, now after Zimmer arrived and tried to get his guy going, now filling in the other spots on the team here on the defensive coaching staff side, Zimmer told the media in his press conference he needed to take time to meet with his own staff and then evaluate what the role is going to be and what spots he needed to kind of fill. And again, it seems like, I guess you can say, people are saying the evaluation went faster than expected. I don't know if that means no movement for someone like Al Harris. But either way, let's take a look at the thumbnail I posted here, as you can see. At the bottom right of your screen, those 3 guys are now part of the Cowboy coaching staff here. Now, Paul Gunther. I'm going to try to say these names right. Paul Gunther is the big guy here, kind of the meathead-looking guy here looking right at us with the squared-off head. He is going to be our run game coordinator on defense. And if anything, we need this guy to stop the run. We need that's our biggest freaking issue is run stop. And we brought in somebody just for this. Remember we had with Joe Witt Jr.? He was our pass game coordinator. Mm-hmm. We never had a run game coordinator. Not that I don't know if it makes a big difference or not, but I don't know if we'll have a pass game coordinator also, or we just have a run game coordinator who will be kind of his right-hand man. I don't know. But either way, I like to hear the words run game coordinator over pass game coordinator. Another reason I think that will be the case is because the pass game coordinator is the guy on your left. He's always been running defensive secondaries in Zimmer.
Yeah.
So Zimmer kind of does that anyway. So what's Paul Gunther's background? What's the situation? The guy here, the white shirt, in the middle of the screen there. So, again, a familiar hire for Zimmer, solidifying one of the biggest problems on defense, stopping the run. Michael Gelkin reported from the Dallas Morning News that the Cowboys officially hired Paul Gunther as our run game coordinator. And this was yesterday. Gunther and Zimmer go back to their time in Cincinnati with the Cincinnati Bengals when they coached there. The two worked together from 2008 to 2013 before Zimmer took the head coaching job with the Vikings in 2014. Gunther worked as a defensive coordinator for the Bengals. So, again, he was their DC back there. He's an experienced defensive coordinator, Gunther. Yeah. Worked as their defensive coordinator with the Bengals once Zimmer left. And, I think until 2017 was his last year with the Bengals as a defensive coordinator. They moved to the Raiders, and he was there for the defensive coordinator for the Raiders for 3 more years to 2020. Then in 2021, Gunther here and Zimmer reconnected in Minnesota in 2021, and he was hired as the Vikings' senior defensive assistant in Zimmer's final year with Minnesota. So again, a guy he knows, a guy he worked with, a guy obviously he's worked with since 2008? 2008 to 13.
He's worked with him a while. And
then a little bit of a break. Then rematched with him in 2021 and been with him since. Now, Gunther, I know he was with the Washington Commanders this last year. It was interesting to see kind of what some of the things he does on defense when it comes to stopping the run. Gunther has the same sim pressures and the sim stunts, the tendencies that Zimmer has, believe it or not, Gunther. So, again, it's obvious that basically he kind of coasted on the foundation that Zimmer established when they were together in Cincinnati. So all the stuff he does in the run game matches to what Zimmer likes to see, how you stop the run.
Yeah.
So, again, the defense gradually, again, in his years coaching the Bengals defense, defensive coordinator for the defense, Gunther, kind of from 2015 to 2017, really went downhill, especially those last 2 years. The defense went downhill, so he was released then. Run game coordinator, though, not defensive coordinator, run game coordinator makes a lot more sense when you look at the familiarity he has. He has a lot of knowledge when it comes to linebackers and run fits. And guess what our biggest problem is? The run stopping linebackers that know their run fits properly. Even LVE fucked up his run fits. So you gotta get that is so important to stop the run. This guy's a specialist to not let that shit happen. You guys feel me on this? So that's a good start, I think. What do you think? With Gunther here in the white shirt,
I don't
meathead.
disagree because, like I said, it's a twofold problem when it comes to addressing some of the defensive shortfalls. One, taking the guys that we already have, the guys we know are still going to be here, the guys that we have to find a way to make them work, right? Mm-hmm. And making those necessary adjustments and tweaks on the coaching side, on the scheme side, and obviously on the developmental side, so that they can play better, right? But, you always need a little help from your friends. So, realistically speaking, we know that coaching plays a big role in the success of these guys. So,
I think I picked the right guy.
Oh.
No, I'm sorry. No, you're right. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, I'm... Okay. Well,
no, it was my fault.
I mean, should I say I'm excited to...
No, the guy I was talking about is actually the Raider guy here. That's why I was saying, why didn't he go? He didn't go to the Commanders. He's the Raiders guy. I was showing you the wrong guy the whole time. The big meathead guy is a different guy.
Okay.
This guy, you see him in the black over here in the back. That's the guy I'm referring to this whole time. Okay. So, but that's all. I just wanted to clarify that. But it still stands the same for what his abilities are.
I was just trying to say, like, is my point going to sound stupid now? We got to take it all back.
No. It's still the same. It just happens to be this guy on the right rather than the guy on the left.
Well, there you go. My point still stands. Coaching is important. I am looking forward to seeing if this kind of more tough love leaning defensive cohort of coaches can bring a little bit more out of these guys.
Well,
right?
Again,
and not just that. Going back to Micah's point about culture, I don't think they're going to change the culture. But can we start making tweaks on the general mindset?
These are the Zimmer guys. That's the key here. So again, two of these three guys are Zimmer guys.
We also can see what Zimmer values a lot as well. So again, a very honestly, it is a bit of a pivot from what Quinn values, right? Not to say that Zimmer is disregarding speed, but it does seem like if you wanted to say, does he value speed or does he value size more? It does seem like size might be, or a bigger factor. I'm speaking in big generalities.
Obviously, the key here, and again, I'm looking at him now as the Raider guy here. The thing about him that's important to note is that he will get your linebackers. I don't want him our defensive coordinator. Okay, he's not very good at defensive coordinator, but he's very good at specializing.
He's not there to do that.
Exactly, he's good at specializing at using your linebackers and knowing which holes to hit when it's run zone blocking. Run zone blocking, gap run blocking. That's the thing. Good thing he only specializes in stopping the motherfucking run. If we can't stop the run, this guy gets fired on the right of your screen there.
So,
former Raider.
He's got one job.
He's got one job. He's got to do that job under Zimmer, and I think Zimmer is smart in letting a guy who's experienced, who's done coordinating since 2008. We've been with him since 2008 and coordinating since 2014. Defensive coordinator, specializing back in what he does best, and that is stopping the run. So
he's taking a page out of the McCarthy book.
Yeah, let's hope Mr. Raider over here on the right can get shit together when it comes to stopping the run. So that's the first guy of the list. I don't know if there's any quick comments on him, but I'm going to say it like this. I'm glad.
No comments, although Pioneer did have a funny joke about the receivers earlier, saying, "Where's Brandon Cooks on that list?" Said he's actually technically not on it.
He's not on the bottom 10 there. But when it comes to the coaching and it comes to this former Raider coach and former Bengal coach, a guy of Zimmer here all the way on the right side of your screen, that coach right there, to me, the thing I like about it is we're addressing a specialized situation on our team.
I agree.
That we have a coach just whose job is to make sure these linebackers and defensive linemen, tackles specifically, they do not fuck up what their assignments are. And that's basically
from a
previous
coaching
problem.
Perspective, it feels like we're beginning to address some of the problems from last year.
Now let's address another problem. which is the overall defensive line, right? It was just like, pass rush wise, we were fantastic, but stopping the run, there was issues. And we were missing, again, we didn't have a run game coordinator last year. So this is a new position here when it comes to Raider guy. But when it comes to the defensive line, we know that was Aiden, what was his name? Aden Dirty, who now is at Seattle Seahawks, the defensive coordinator. Aden Dirty, yes. He's the enemy now. But now we brought in another guy here. And this is the meathead-looking guy here in the white shirt. Defensive line coach, Jeff Zaganina. Now, I want you to hit that just in case. I want to make sure it's maybe Ganina without the Z, but...
Zganina. I'm guessing.
Zganina.
Like the ZG sounds probably a little bit
it's Z. His last name is Zgonina. So... Ziganina.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen a silent Z before.
Yeah,
so I'm going to go with
Jeff Ziganina. He is our defensive line coach officially. Went from Aden Dirty, which was difficult enough, to Jeff Ziganina, who's now going to be our defensive line coach. He takes over. What is his background? His with Aden Dirty gone to Seattle, now we're hiring Jeff Ziganina, who formerly he's the guy I got confused there. Formerly with the Washington Commanders. So, he spent the last 4 years he was with the Washington Commanders under Ron Rivera and was elevated to coach the defensive line in 2022. He helped coach some of the better, younger, I would say the better defensive linemen really on that team. That was their specialty for 2022 until they traded him away in 2023. But he was out there developing guys like Chase Young, Montez Sweat, Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne of the Commanders. He had either developing those guys or already, getting them when they're young. You know what I'm saying? Still in their earlier years. So before his time in Washington, Zaganina was coaching the defensive front of the San Francisco 49ers, a team, of course, that always kind of been solid in that defensive front line. Then before that, with the Giants, was an assistant for the Houston Texans. After his playing days, did play. When his playing days were over, he played 17 years as a defensive tackle on 7 different teams. So he's been around, and he also knows that position of defensive tackle, which is what we really need, right? The guy is massively big, as you can see there. And so hopefully he brings that attitude to the defensive interior line in the pass rush. But again, he's going to be helping technique stuff, developing stuff with guys within the run game coordinator, like Raider man here. I can't remember. I forgot his name. But
Zganina?
No, not him. But the other guy.
Well, sorry. Now I have Zganina in my head, so I don't remember the other guy's name either.
I'll remember here. I don't know why I forgot him already. Oh, there it is. Gunther.
There you go.
Yes. Paul Gunther. Sorry about that. But yes, he is the run game coordinator, which I really like that we have that specialty. So what I'm trying to say is Ziganina doesn't have to worry about it as much. You know what I mean? Like, he has to worry about the run game, but he's worrying about teaching technique and making sure they know what their, these defensive players' roles are going to be, while the run game coordinator, Gunther, implements these things with the guys, with the techniques he's taught with the Ziganina. So, again, he was with Washington, San Francisco, the Giants. He was an assistant for the Texans. He played 17 years on 7 different teams. So he has a ton of playing and coaching experience to bring to the Cowboy defensive line. Zimmer, who, again, welcomes it into his staff and is hoping to bring a better basically more discipline and more technique to this defensive line. And I'm telling you right now, that's what this guy's specialty is, okay? Technique and discipline. I want that. This defensive line needs technique and discipline. Let's just be honest about it. What do you think?
I want hopes and dreams and butterfly wings.
I'm telling you what we need. This is his specialty. What do you think?
No, I mean, I'm not mad at it. Like I said, it very much fits the general vibe of what I feel like is a much more no-nonsense, tough team defense, really, that we're trying to run here.
Coaching.
Yes.
Get this coaching. The coaches got to be assholes, right?
From the coaching's perspective, yeah. Very different from the Dan Quinn, I want to be your friend,
nice
I want to
guy.
feel good, and heck, even dirty in a lot of ways. I'm not saying that these coaches won't be close to their players or whatever, but it is going to be a different type of relationship. For better or for worse, I think that Dallas could use a little bit of that.
A good
right?
kick in the ass. And you know who's going to bring it first? That guy on your screen. Mike Zimmer. So He's the guy that's going to bring
the
that attitude.
The rest of the coaches will absolutely take a lot of their direction from him, right?
These three coaches are kind of like these two coaches that we talked about are kind of like this.
Or Zimmer-like.
Zimmer-like. So the last guy, which is going to get his first delve into the coaching realm, is our former Cowboy, and he was a very well-known, well-loved Dallas Cowboy, Greg Ellis, former first-round. I'll explain. He comes in doing the Leon Lett job. Remember Leon Lett? Then we had Sheriff Floyd. And he went to Washington. When Zimmer came in, he's like, I'm out of here. So this is the replacement to that, the defensive line assistant coach. Very important. It's Greg Ellis. So he's officially the assistant. You see him right there, formerly number 98, assistant defensive line coach. The Cowboys bringing in a familiar face to help Zigonina coach the defensive line. Todd Archer is the one that reported that Greg Ellis is the new assistant defensive line coach, although he's probably the least impactful hire. Just based on the responsibilities, he's there just to assist. It's probably the most interesting one in the sense of like he's been his history right now. He's been spending a lot of time coaching at the collegiate level with Texas College and Southwest Assemblies of God University, not the high rollers of the football world, but still the Cowboys have had a lot of former players as assistant defensive line coaches. Like I said, going back to Jason Garrett era with Leon Lett, and then this is. Greg Ellis' first chance to coach in the NFL. So this is his start. Wherever he goes, we'll see. But Greg Ellis, former first-round pick of the Cowboys, played 12 years in the NFL, 11 of those with the star in the helmet. He spent almost his entire career around Mike Zimmer. That's the key here. That's a Zimmer connection. So Zimmer coached him. He drafted him. He was there with them. So spent most of his time in his career, most of it with Mike Zimmer. A lot of familiarity between both of them. For years, they debated whether or not Dallas screwed up the draft. Mm-hmm. When we drafted Ellis, instead of drafting Randy Moss, which was always, the big, that was a Jerry Jones kind of move to get Randy Moss and win with Greg Ellis. Still very good, but always overlooked by Randy Moss, basically. So the truth is, Greg Ellis was a damn good player, guys. Now, not a Hall of Famer, but he became a starting defensive end for the Cowboys, made the 2007 Pro Bowl. He started 155 games. Availability was there. He recorded 77 sacks in 11 years, led the team in sacks in between the years of 2001, 2, 3, 4, and 5. He was our sack leader until DeMarcus Ware came around. So, again, Greg Ellis was a very good player for the Cowboys. Do not overlook his accomplishments. In my opinion, you should not overlook him. But, again, he finished his career with 502 tackles, 75 tackles for loss, 24 fumbles, 11 fumble recoveries, 4 interceptions, and 2 career touchdowns. That's number 98. Now our new defensive line assistant coach, Greg Ellis. Yes, Greg Ellis. He's going to be working there. Again, the connection to Zimmer is obvious. So, any quick words on these coaches? I know most of you guys might have known already about it.
Pioneer, shout out to you, saying, dude, I talked to Greg Ellis a few months ago.
Huh.
He was coaching the team my alma mater was playing, and I couldn't believe it was him. Huh. It's NAIA football. We graduate, but we don't go pro.
Huh. Well, hey, that's awesome because you just got a glimpse of
I was going to say,
who's going to be coaching.
You got a little flavor.
Yeah. You're going to see Greg Ellis, and hopefully he has that fire the Zimmer coached him with, and he will bring that to the Cowboy defensive assistant line coach. Again, Zigonina is going to be running just the D-line here, and he's going to have an assistant here in Greg Ellis kicking off his coaching career. That's something we need. And then we got another running back coordinator that's going to be here helping Zigonina as well. So I love this. Today was just let's and I said this is very important. The Cowboys went with basically 3 guys to stop the run. 3 coaches. One that's an asshole and brings it. Another one that's, has done the defensive coordinator stuff with experience and brings it. And then Greg Ellis, who's starting off, and we'll see how he brings it in his first year assisting.
Exactly.
So I'm loving it. Pioneer, great stuff.
Really
there.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, by the way, Scorpio said AC/DC wrote a song called Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap.
Adam Dirty Deeds.
Figured you'd enjoy that little joke there. So, Pioneer also threw out there before that, season hasn't even started yet, and there's already head coaching controversy.
Hey, and the Cowboys, always going to be that. On the Cowboys, that's always the case.
Whether real or manufactured.
Well, yeah, but it's real because McCarthy ain't got no... I know what you mean. I know it happens.
What I'm saying is every year the Cowboys are, making headlines for one reason or the other, usually related to our head coach. Yeah. Most years, it tends to be a bunch of hoopla. Obviously, this year, McCarthy's seat could not be any warmer.
This is the end of McCarthy unless he gets that championship game in the Super Bowl.
Got some hot cross buns over there.
Yeah, exactly.
So with that said, I do think we're getting towards the end of
almost
the
there. So make
topics
sure
we got to touch on.
Make sure you guys drop your last,
your final chance here to
your thoughts
hit
and
a
stuff.
like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us anywhere and everywhere at My Cowboys Family. Of course, hop in the Discord. Links down below, and an extra special thank you to JD from DC.
Much love.
Appreciate you.
Yes.
Repping it as the sponsor of the week
Yes.
and the membership gifting king.
Yes, that's domination right there. Appreciate you. Much love to Zach Luna, who with a big old drop comes in a second place currently on a second place on the overall board. I think he's like 10 away from first, 11 away from passing first, and he's got 95 points in the stream boss. Much love to Zach Luna, and yes, never forget the man who's the king of the Cash App, Mr. McLovin. He is currently the Cash App king. And he's also the overall leader and Cash App leader, trying to go back to back. And it's not his Cowboys, but it's our 90s Cowboys. So, hey, we'll see if he does that. It's a battle at the top currently. Appreciate all you guys. Oh, by the way, the gifting side, much love to Skeptical, who dropped 2 in there, but the Lunatic has the lead when it comes to the gifting membership, leaderboard. Now, let's roll it over to another legend. There's a lot of legends we just shouted out. But let's roll it over to another legend. It's the bottom of your screen there in the middle. Mr. Emmitt Smith. Giving a little look to Zimmer, because remember, they know each other well. He coached when both were there with the Cowboys. Emmitt, is Zimmer a guy he liked? We know he kind of liked it last time he spoke about this, right? So Emmitt Smith, guys, wants the current Cowboys to establish their own legacy. That's number one. All right. He has comments about the current culture, the trajectory of this team, and really, these are the talking points he's kind of been going around speaking about.
Yeah.
What did he say, maybe, about basically this team going forward and the situation with losing to the Packers? Head should have rolled. He thought McCarthy should have been gone. What did he say?
I thought the reason why I was so convinced McCarthy was going to get fired is because last year there was a whole lot of talk about, okay, this might be it. If he doesn't perform this year, okay.
Correct.
You're going to accept 12 wins and the playoff berth, but you're going to accept the way we got kicked out the playoffs? I mean, dominated. I mean, it's like we went out and played with our hands tied behind our backs, or we left our minds up in Frisco and didn't even take it over to AT&T in Arlington. It was such a disappointing thing. It was just bad. It's bad all the way around. I even hate talking about it because I feel responsible. I feel like I could have helped, and I don't know how, but yeah, it was bad.
I'm telling you, man, I
love
you, Emmitt Smith, man.
Emmitt
Emmitt Smith is so right about all of these things.
You are literally,
he's a legend.
Honestly, the reason that I know Emmitt Smith feels as upset as he does is because he feels a similar
he's part of this team
bamboozled
still.
feeling like we do.
Yep.
We feel hoodwinked.
Yep.
We feel like something was literally stolen and taken from us, but not from someone else, from ourselves. It's like you got robbed by your own mom.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Anyway, Marco Seppian, shout out to you with his $5 holler here.
5 on it. That takes Zach Luna to 90 points on the stream boss. What did the man say?
Any idea what we do with Tyron? I heard that the left tackle from the Panthers, I think, was an option at left tackle. We need 2 impact free agents, and our number 1 and 2 have to be starters.
I mean, without question, I think drafting an offensive lineman at center would be a good start. I think Tyron Smith could still be an option at $7 million. That's a steal.
I was just about to say, I think everyone needs to prepare themselves, especially with how well and how long he was able to play last year under McCarthy's management. Like, Cowboys are absolutely pulling that shit again, rolling with the backups.
Yeah,
if we draft an offensive lineman, I don't think we're getting a tackle. I personally think we're going to get an interior guy who can play center, who's going to replace Biadasz, because he's the next one in line.
Biadasz is a free agent. Do you pay $7 million to Biadasz for 3 years?
Yeah.
Or do you pay Tyron Smith $7 million that is a great deal for one of the top guys when he's healthy, and if we keep him healthy, which it seemed to work this year.
Perspective as well. If Tyron Smith goes down, we already have Tyler Smith locked and loaded and ready to go, and we have much better backup at our guard position than we do at tackle. So why even bother beating that dead horse when you have it figured out? You just got to shuffle to the left.
We have TJ Bass. We have Brock Hoffman. These guys are sustainable for a game. Now, I still draft an offensive lineman here with a center, right? And you secure that spot. You can do those moves you said. You can still even, bring in another guy if you want to go later in the rounds, if you want to guard or tackle.
Because if let's say we do draft the left tackle, let's say we do that in the first round, you're telling me he's going to compete with Tyron Smith for playing time? Like, that's not
then we let him.
in
Then
a
we
realistic universe.
Then that means we're letting Tyron Smith probably go.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Point.
It's got to be one or the other.
Right.
And even I don't know if I want to put all my eggs into a rookie left tackle basket.
I'm gonna say this.
Quite yet.
I'd rather secure that offensive lineman like a Jackson Powers guy that can really be your guy for 10 years, 12 years, and be a Hall of Famer. I would take that at center over Biotish and $7 million a year, and I would take the $7 million for 1 year for Tyron Smith. You know what I mean? I'll take a deal like that. He's going to give you a discount. He's going to be rested every week. We got McCarthy here still. He's going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
That's a steal for someone like Tyron Smith, as long as you have a backup plan. Whether it is Tyler Smith moving to the left tackle or you get almost a starter at left tackle. No. I'm not saying a draft. I'm saying an actual, not a Chuma Doga for $1 million, which is what we did last year.
I've talked enough. Let's go back to what Emmitt Smith had to continue to say about this, right? He said, I'm tired of being sold on what the Cowboys could be. I'm tired. I've had enough of it because I'm more about what the Cowboys really are and who we really are and who we were. That's where I'm at, and that's where everyone else is at. How do you allow this to happen? So he also mentioned, that the Cowboys need to kind of, roll things back in time. Go back to those days where him and his teammates were winning.
Yeah.
Super Bowls.
Fight. You know what I mean? Motherfuckers, have some aggression.
Yeah, when he says fight, right, he says he doesn't see that same type of heart, that same desire. That's we don't seem driven in the way that's necessary to go out there and win those games. We looked very, limp noodle. Right? Micah, my goodness, sorry, since Micah spoke earlier today. But Emmitt Smith.
Emmitt, yeah.
Right? Emmitt Smith saying, quote, everyone's patting them on the back without doing anything. People want to give them so much without doing nothing. And what they're living off of is what happened in the past, not what's going down right now. They're not establishing their own legacy, let alone building off the legacy that was established.
Coming from Emmitt Smith, who helped establish the legacy.
You know how he built it?
He helped build it because it started with Staubach and Landry, but he kept it going. Yeah, he had his own legacy in the '90s, right? And he wants these guys to get his own.
Okay, I know, but the Cowboys are living off of. Let's be real. I'm not talking about the entire. They're living off of the '90s current hype.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about specifically. And the hype train they're currently riding was Emmitt Smith's blood, sweat, and tears. Right? So he's sitting here like, you guys stole the answers off of my test, and you still expect to pass? You don't think you're going to get caught cheating? You know what I mean? I'm the one who worked hard. I did this, not you. So anyway, just throwing it out there. I can understand why he's upset.
Yeah. Now, I'm with you. If anybody has anything to say, please let me know. But Emmitt Smith continued. He said, on the current Cowboys team right now, he said, quote, maybe my expectations for them is much greater than their own expectations are for themselves.
Again, it goes back to that drive. How do we as fans, how do we as outside observers feel more for it, want this more than you do, fight for it harder than you do? What the fuck? So just throwing that out there. So, and by the way, Tyron said, I want to see Richards too.
As far as Richards. Oh, Sim Richards?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he could develop, and, we're keeping Soliari. I'm guessing we're keeping Soliari. So, I'm with you right there too.
So, just kind of rolling back. I think we touched on pretty much all the comments.
Oh, okay. No, I just wanted to make sure that...
Yeah, sorry, guys. Our little robot guy isn't working right. I guess he's taking a little robot nap. So.
Oh, I think it should be working now. Try it.
Here.
Please.
I guess let me give a little
splish splash of taking a bath.
A little attempt.
Sorry, guys. We have some technical issue on this side. It happened a couple times last week.
And the only way to see if it's working is during
the
live
stream.
Yeah. So
let's hope it works. Let us know if it goes. So anyways, either way.
Nothing as of now, so...
Yeah, that sucks.
It's all right. Well,
I'm going to have to restart it, that's what it is, but I will do that some other time. Anyways, that was one part of it here. So that was one part of this. There's also another part that Emmitt Smith said about Christian McCaffrey. It was interesting because he said, quote, Christian McCaffrey and the 49ers, they can trust that the running game can work. It ain't his fault that the coaches decide to go away from it, end quote. So Emmitt kind of saying, if you want to use that terminology with Tony Pollard, the Cowboys kind of didn't go towards the $10 million man in Tony Pollard. And McCaffrey, who's much more than that and much better, was not used in the second half as much in the first half.
Yeah.
And again, he's trying to say that's not on.
That's partially the
that's
reason
the
maybe why
scheme.
things happen, right?
Yeah.
But Emmett said, quote, "I cannot wait to give him a big hug because I think we need some of that old school tradition brought back into the mix."
And again, without knowing, who we might be talking about at that moment, it is Mike Zimmer. And I know you kind of jumped a little bit there, but I will say that Zimmer, I want to, coming on to the Cowboys, and kind of, just so recently, I know that Emmitt Smith had some good things to say. The initial announcement of that a couple days ago, during his tour through the Super Bowl, press and Radio Row and all that stuff, Emmitt was very, highly happy, very happy about Zimmer coming here. So yes, that big hug is coming. And again, the news broke on Friday about, officially Zimmer becoming the next coordinator last week. And he was, again, defensive assistant last time the Cowboys won a Super Bowl in 1995. He eventually became defensive coordinator in 2000, 2006 under Parcells. So yeah, if Smith wanted to, have a coordinator here, he's going to be able to be kind of Emmitt Smith, knows Zimmer here very well from his from playing under, not under him because he was on the defensive side, but from playing with him, being, seeing him as a coach. So he knows the kind of energy he has, the kind of, the kind of coach he is. He with passion, fire, intensity. And Emmitt likes that. He knows what's coming to the Cowboy defense very soon. It's going to be a different day in Dallas with Mike Zimmer. So what did he say in full context, baby? I'm sorry.
"I cannot wait to give him a big hug because I think we need some of that old school tradition brought back into the mix.
Hell yeah.
They've got great talent, and trust me, Zimmer's going to figure out what to do with that defense, and he's going to make that thing right. If McCarthy and Zimmer can, gel head coach to head coach or head coach to defensive coordinator, we'll be fine."
Again, that to me there is, coming from somebody who knows how he coaches is fantastic. He had his introductory press conference. He is 67 years old, but he does adapt well. And again, he addressed the fact that he's a jerk sometimes and he's a hard-nosed coach. Emmitt, Darren Woodson, many others, Marcus Spears, Bill Parcells, coaching-wise. Everybody, knows that he tries to get the most out of his players by asking a lot of them. He pushes them to the test. So that is what we're going to see with Mike Zimmer. And hey, listen,
Let's
year.
be real. We've said it before. We're going to keep saying it. This might be just what the doctor ordered for this team.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know if this can match up to what we need, in a situation like this. Maybe we need a new face that's going to be more aggressive there on the defensive side and utilize our players just a tad bit better than maybe Dan Quinn did in his last year.
As Smodius said, Emmitt Smith getting upset is something new. We've seen this Emmitt before many times, and I
right.
don't disagree with that. But like he said, something about it this year feels a little bit different.
I'll tell you what it was.
Right?
It was a disappointment loss to the Packers. That broke Emmitt. It broke a lot of us, honestly. Because I know it broke me.
Yeah, so like I said, it's that feeling of being like hoodwinked, right? Yeah. Like we were sold a bill of lies on what this Cowboy team said they were, and they were not. And like we said, there's no honor in losing to someone respectable, right? Mm-hmm. Like if we had lost to a better team, we would 100% fully. No
offense to the Packers because they were the better team that day.
It's a lot easier to sit with that, knowing you lost to a team of higher
and
caliber.
You were closer and you played better. Yeah,
exactly. When you played down to a team that should not have beat you, and then they turn around and do, and not just in any fashion, but in such an embarrassing way on such a big stage. Let me not keep rubbing salt into that freaking room.
Yeah, we know
anyway,
that.
Smodius, Jay Duncan, what's up?
Yeah, Jay Duncan said, I bet the run D will be better. And I think these coaching moves that you just saw from the Cowboys today is part of the run defense being better. But let's be honest, though. Let's all be honest. Mm-hmm. We must bring in better players and personnel, whatever it may be, that Mike Zimmer needs to make his defense run run better, to make this defense run better. Under his way, you know what I mean?
Times agree.
This would be under his way, his style, and that to me is, what we need to see from them, from that side of the you look at offense and defense, special teams, you look at the players and all this stuff, but I also always looking at the coaches, and that to me is the biggest question mark sometimes from this team because of the interference by Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones.
Camden, thanks for summing it up.
Appreciate you. Camden Dumas, welcome to the family. Go Cowboys. We got Zach Luna holding it down, 89 points on the Stream Boss. He's currently running the show. He's second place overall with the big drop of the month and probably the year so far, earlier tonight, and trying to make a run at the Sponsor of the Week. He's second place overall. Sponsor of the Week is the man, JD from DC, repping that star in enemy territory. First time ever as our Sponsor of the Week. Also the gifting membership king, the champion. 3 out of 4 times also over there as the gifting champ. So he's been rocking that board. He's all over the place repping it here on MCF. Much love to him. The leaders over there, Skeptical Fan in second and with 2 drops. As far as gifted memberships, and the Lunatic in first with 5 on it. 5 gifted memberships. Thank you guys on that side of things. And of course, you see the Cash App side of things. The same guy running the whole show. Currently in first place and also the king of the Cash App, the leader of the Cash App. He's loving it. It's McLovin in the house. Appreciate him as well. Thank you, sir, for repping the board and the way he does. Now, I just wanted to get that little part of things out of the way. We have one more show tomorrow to wrap it up, and we'll crown some champions at the end of tomorrow's show. And remember, guys, about a week and a half to go before we do the star level over everything raffle for the jersey. So jump in that if you want. I know we have in the future we have some jersey stuff coming down the line. Maybe I'm definitely doing a draft. So stay tuned for that from the Lunatic. I already got confirmation on that stuff. So we'll talk about that as we get closer. Any other last comments in the chat, maybe, before we turn the page on things? I do want to shout out the Lunatic being in the star level, back in there. Thank you, sir. Marco Seppian with the big drops tonight and getting in third place. And the big drop of the night, Zach Luna, also from the previous night, which we were off of yesterday.
Yeah.
James Davis, Roy Strasner, both these guys in the Navy Blue crew. Appreciate you guys in the membership. Skeptical Fan dropping the thanks. Thank you. Jason Renfro in the Cash App After Dark. Smokey in the Cash App After Dark. Gloria in the PayPal After Dark. Miko in the After Dark PayPal, and McLovin, like I said, in first place, also dropping the love here yesterday into today. So, yeah, he's in the lead overall. He's in the lead in the Cash App. And, hey, good luck to all as we wrap it up tomorrow night here on My Cowboys Family. We might have to put the cameras on for this one.
True.
Yeah, so, we might see us live and in full effect. It's been a while. You might see us after dark. We'll see. It's kind of late now, but we'll see tonight or tomorrow. Either way, you may see.
I guess you're just gonna have to
us on cam.
Follow, sub it up, do all that good
stuff.
Find
MCF After Dark and put that notification bell on. Subscribe and put that bell on. But also do it here. Hit the like, subscribe, and put that bell on, baby. I've done all the shout outs on my side. I want to do the combo shout outs and comments and thoughts by the family, the ones we haven't got to yet, and wrap it up. Once we catch up the comments, let's just keep shouting everybody out and call it a night.
We got Pioneer saying Zimmer's already critiqued Trayvon Diggs for gambling too much. I like that.
Yeah, hey, he came in already with if that's what he did, then he came in already and drawing the line in the sand.
Shots fired.
We need that. We have to have that on this team. Accountability, like Micah said.
Jay Duncan, much love. Asmodeus, of course, representing. Tyrone Church, much love. Thanks for rolling through.
Yeah.
Marco Seppian, always a big mahalo to you.
Yes.
Appreciate you. Even you, Leaside Herald, right?
He's always
Scorpio representing. Let's see who else is here. Kind of rolling back a little bit, of course.
Of course.
Chris Plumage, much love. Hopefully the defense doesn't feel burnt out under Zimmer, although if they felt burnt out under freaking Dan Quinn, who I don't know what to say.
It pains me to think that we're...
Now that Dan Quinn's out the door, it's not time to shit talk him either. I'm not going to start throwing things at him that are not things he's guilty of.
Right, not only on him, Some of it's on him, but not all of it. Yeah.
Mike Aldana, much love. Zach Luna, of course. The man showing the love
the
tonight as well. Cassie Stewart, take
year.
it easy. Have a great night. Bad intentions. We need good intentions. Steven Escobar, thanks for coming through. That's as far back as I can go, so let me come back down. Brandon J, Thanks for hanging with us here as well. Huge shout out to every single person here hanging with us. Make sure to take, like us, Mr. MCF said, your final seconds to show the love, drop the love, share the love, all the love. Thank you. Let me see. Jason Renfro as well coming through. Go Cowboys.
Much love to Jason Renfro. He's in the mix at the top of the board here. So he's up the top 5. We got the ballers in the house.
Boss taken over by the man Zach Luna there.
Yeah. He got Jason Renfro was hanging on to that for a while. So much love to Jason. Much love to everybody in the house. Marco Seppian, Zach Luna, the Lunatic, and everybody else dropping the love, the knowledge, and the chat all night long. Pioneer and the rest of you guys.
Why do we do this, baby?
Baby, you tell me why we do this each and every night here at My Cowboys Family.
I think it's that navy blue.
I know it.
That silver too.
I definitely know it.
And that star over everything.
You best know it. Win, lose, or draw. Good, bad, or ugly. Here on this channel, we rep that star over everything. And here on this channel on YouTube for 6.5+ years, almost 7 years on YouTube, almost every single day and night on right here in My Cowboys Family. Never forget the number one thing here, now, and forever. As always, go Cowboys. Let's get that 6 and beyond. And beyond. Yes, thank you all for...
Stephen White, even you. Yes, you stayed up extra late
Yes,
tonight.
thank you for sticking it out with us. Thank you for dropping your knowledge. Everybody who dropped a comment and dropped their knowledge in the chat, thank you guys for that. Appreciate the back and forth discussions on our Cowboys, especially also your comments attached with the drops of love. Whether it's through Cash App, PayPal, Super Chat, thanks button, whatever, gifting memberships. Thank you guys for your comments, your thoughts, and your drops of love from above that help the thing go on the nightly or almost every night here. Especially in the off season, we try to do it at least 5 or 6 times a week, and we're definitely back in, getting those done. This week we got gonna have 6 out of 7. So hey, we can't do this without your guys' love and support. Truly appreciate you guys here and After Dark, MCF After Dark, which is the overtime show. Much less to do with football, more about just chaos. So with panels and people. You got to find that on your own, though, guys. Thank you on both those sides. The drops of knowledge, drops of love. Now it's time to drop out and clock out of here for the night officially on a Saturday night. Hope you guys are having a great week. But, baby, before we can do all that, drop out and clock out and relock and reload for tomorrow on our final show of the week, tell everybody what we got to do. We got to shout out Jason Renfro.
Yes, we do.
For a dollar holler. And a go Cowboys.
Thank you, Jason.
Yes, add them to the list of the droppers of the night here.
Always go Cowboys. Thank you, Jason.
Yes. You know what he always reps, right?
Yes.
That navy blue, that silver too, that star over everything. He got to get that 6 and beyond. So now, before we can officially drop out, as Zach goes to 88 CD Lamb points there. Thank you, Jason. Before we drop out for the night, what do we got to do, baby? Before we get on out of here, drop out for the evening.
We got to drop the beat.
Oh, yeah. That beat's been dropped. Thank you guys for dropping in, dropping by, and dropping your thoughts, the love, the discussions. Can't do this without you guys as we wrap up another MCF Cowboy Chat. It's a done deal on a Saturday special. The shout-outs to everything. You guys in the house, thank you all. Leave your comments below if you're watching on the replay. We'll be back another day, tomorrow, Sunday, for the wrap-up of the weekend. Really, hey, any other Cowboy news, info, and updates. You know there's always something of our Cowboys to discuss. You know this, man. Speaking of here on MCF, you know it's about, always about that navy blue. That silver, too, and that star over everything. Never, ever forget the number one thing right here in My Cowboys Family. Much love to everyone in the house. Don't forget to hit that like button for the stream. Subscribe to the channel, by the way. Just a couple 10 away from 32.5K. Thank you, guys. Family growing every day. Growing, guys. So, again, hit the notification bell to set it to all videos. So you know we're going live, and follow us at My Cowboys Family at all social media. You got all the description, everything in the description. Check it out. And, guys, have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you tomorrow night. Peace, stay safe, and never forget, go Cowboys!
Monk on the beat.